Chapter 726. Seeing that Lin Jieji was silent for a long time, Shi Yao asked once more, "It can't be that you didn't make a wish, right?" "I made a wish." Lin Jieji snapped out of his daze. He controlled his expression well, not revealing the slightest hint of emotion. He continued cutting the cake as he casually answered Shi Yao's question. Shi Yao instinctively wanted to repeat the question that she had just asked. However, barely after those words reached the tip of her tongue, Lin Jieji calmly spoke up once more. "But didn't they say that wishes won't come true once spoken? You still believe in such things?" Shi Yao was surprised. Based on her impression of Lin Jieji, he wasn't someone who believed in such unrealistic things. Lin Jieji replied with a light as he passed a slice of cake over to Shi Yao. "Believe." It wasn't because he relied on such words. Rather, it was because the wish was related to her. Even if he knew that it was unrealistic, he was still willing to fulfill it. By the time they finished the cake, it was already getting late. Naturally, Shi Yao requested to leave. As Lin Jieji had drunk a little, he couldn't drive, so he hailed a taxi to send Shi Yao back to school. The taxi stopped at the entrance of the school, but Lin Jieji didn't get off. Shi Yao said, "I'll be leaving first," before pushing the car door open. When she got off the car, just as she was about to close the door, Lin Jieji suddenly called out, "Yao Yao." Shi Yao bent down to look at Lin Jieji, who was sitting at the back of the car. His eyes were very bright, and there seemed to be a hint of a smile hidden in the depths of his eyes. He seemed to be very happy. Under Lin Jieji's gaze, Shi Yao's heart skipped a beat. Following which, she felt as if she had been electrocuted, and a numbing sensation spread across her body. She was just about to reply with but in an instant her lips fell silent. Lin Jieji stared at her face for a moment before saying softly, "Drive safe on the way back to the dormitory." Hearing Lin Jieji's words, Shi Yao swiftly recovered from her daze and replied with She impatiently waved goodbye to Lin Jieji, closed the car door and hurriedly dashed back to the campus. Without turning back, Shi Yao could hear her heart pounding in her chest. Thump thump thump. Every beat was clear and forceful. After sending Shi Yao off with his gaze, Lin Jieji turned to the driver and said, "Return to where we were earlier." "Okay," the driver answered and stepped on the accelerator. He called out to her just now to tell her that he was very happy that she remembered his birthday and came to celebrate it with him. But when the words reached his mouth, he forcefully suppressed them. It was better not to express some emotions too obviously, lest he acted too rashly and scared her. After all, he wasn't sure what she really thought of him. What if what she did today was done in a situation where she didn't even know what was going on? What he said would startle her. Not only would she not face it, but she would also start to avoid it. Wouldn't that be even worse? Chapter 727. On the second day after Lin Jieji's birthday, Mr. Numbers shared a link to the tournament with Shi Yao. The prize money for this tournament was the highest they had ever received in the history of the tournament, at a whopping 1.8 million renminbi. Most of the teams participating in the tournament this time around were substitute players from professional squads. While some of them might not have participated in any professional matches before, they had sparred with professional players who had participated in official tournaments. Be it in terms of awareness or maneuvering, they were much stronger than the opponents they had faced before. Thus, after registering for the tournament, Mr. Numbers would grab Shi Yao to train whenever he had the time. A week later, on the weekend, the tournament began. In truth, the rules of the tournament were more or less the same. The only difference was the number of points earned from killing a player and the number of points earned from winning a chicken dinner. In the previous matches, under Mr. Numbers' special training, Shi Yao didn't drag the team down much. However, perhaps due to the huge prize money and the fact that there were so many experts in the tournament, Shi Yao's performance in the elimination round was no different from the first time she had participated in a tournament. Fortunately, Mr. Numbers was as steady as ever. Even so, they still managed to get into the finals as the third place in the elimination round. The finals was set for 3 in the afternoon of the second day. Shi Yao, Mr. Numbers, Expert, and Juice went online on time and connected their microphones to prepare for battle. In the first round, Mr. Numbers was the only one who survived. He didn't manage to win the chicken dinner and ended up in second place. In the second round, Mr. Numbers died very early on, and Shi Yao also died shortly after. Juice and Expert managed to sneak into the finals, but they weren't able to get a placing, so they didn't gain any points. There were a total of 5 rounds in the finals. After the second round, Yao took a look at the rankings. While Team 21 wasn't at the bottom, it was still outside the top 10. If they allowed the other teams to pull away from them in the third round, they would really be out of the running for the championship. Just as Yao thought that there was no hope left in the tournament, the reticent Mr. Numbers suddenly took the initiative to give voice commands for the entire match. In the third round, Team 21 successfully won the chicken dinner and entered the top 10. In the fourth round, Team 21 still managed to win the chicken dinner and successfully leaped to second place. The team ranked first was called Star Fate Team. Yao wasn't too familiar with the other squads formed by substitute players, but she had heard of this particular squad. This was because there were 3 members in this squad and they were the substitutes of AE Squadron. 2 of the substitutes had inherited Legends teachings, and it was revealed on the forums that they were the future stars of AE Squadron, personally groomed by God L. The difference in points between them and the Star Fate Battle Team wasn't that big. However, although the Star Fate Battle Team didn't get the chicken dinner in the last 2 rounds, they had a lot of kills in each round. Their ranking was also very high. One round was second and the other was fourth. In the 5th round, there was only one way for them to defeat the Star Fate squad, and that was to continue to get the first place. Because the 5th round was the round that would decide the outcome of the match, every team was especially serious and cautious. Even after entering the final circle, there were still 32 people alive. Chapter 728. As the other team member was outside the safe zone, he was late in escaping from the blue circle. On top of that, the damage he suffered in the final third of the blue circle was particularly severe. Just as he was about to enter the safe zone, he was poisoned to death. Thus, only Mr. Numbers and 2 members of Star Fate were left. It was a very small circle and Mr. Numbers was facing 2 professional players at once. It was clear that the difficulty was high. Just as Yao thought that the chances of her winning the game were close to 0, Mr. Numbers seemed to have a deep understanding of the other party's fighting style. He easily located one of them and killed him. The commentator probably didn't expect Mr. Numbers to be so impressive, and his words were filled with agitation. The safe zone shrunk once more, leaving only a 2-story building within the safe zone. This time, without even needing to determine the location, it was clear that the last member of Star Fate was on the 2nd floor. Mr. Numbers and the other members of Star Fate were moving back and forth, one upstairs and the other downstairs. Yao, who had switched to Mr. Numbers' vision, saw red footprints constantly lighting up on the minimap. Neither of them seemed to have any intention of attacking, and just as the battle was about to reach a stalemate, Mr. Numbers suddenly dashed toward the staircase. Yao thought that he was going to storm the building, but barely after taking 2 steps he suddenly backed down and leaped out of the window. It was as if he had expected that someone would leap out of the window, so a second after leaping out of the window he was already firing furiously at the players in front of him. While Yao was still in a daze, a page with the words, "Winner's Chicken Dinner," appeared on the screen. Can't be, right? Is that even possible? If Mr. Numbers had been able to determine a person's location based on their footsteps and gunshots, Yao would still have been able to understand why. However, Mr. Numbers wasn't relying on any external factors at all. It was as if he was looking at the other party's screen, and he was able to accurately pinpoint the other party's location. This was practically mind-reading. No matter how Yao thought about it, she couldn't help but find it inconceivable. After the match ended, she couldn't help but run to WeChat and send 3 consecutive messages to less than 111,111. Do you know someone from Star Fate? Do you often play games with them? Otherwise, how did you manage to understand their fighting style so well? It took a long while before Mr. Numbers finally replied, "It was pure luck." So, was it really a coincidence? Mr. Numbers randomly guessed and he guessed correctly? Biting on her finger, Yao pondered for a moment, and she couldn't help but agree that it wasn't entirely impossible. Thus, she casually replied to Mr. Numbers, "Are you saying that you're a blind cat and those 2 from Star Fate are dead mice?" 111,111. 111,111. Transferred 50,000 yuan. 111,111. Transferred 50,000 yuan. 111,111. Transfer. There were a total of 9 transfer notifications, and by the time Shi Yao was done collecting them, her WeChat account balance had already exceeded 500,000 renminbi. However, due to her bloated ego, she took a screenshot and sent it over to 111,111. Do you see that? I'm already a millionaire. 111,111. Question mark. Yao loves ice cream. 500,000. That's half of a million. That's half a millionaire. That's half a millionaire. 111,111. Mr. Numbers might be a cold and aloof person, but after getting to know him he rarely brushed her off like that. Shi Yao had a rough idea of what was going on, so she asked, "Are you busy?" 111,111. Okay. Chapter 729. Out of convenience, Shi Yao asked, "Is it a girl?" Less than 111,111. Yao loves ice cream, huh? I won't disturb you then. Asterisk. Shi Yao was still thinking that Mr. Numbers was being perfunctory a moment ago, but she soon found herself slapped in the face. Less than 111,111. It's an old friend I've known for many years. I'm currently discussing work matters with her. Why did Mr. Numbers have to explain things to me in such detail? It's as if I'm his wife, Pui. Wife your head. What in the world is going on in my head? I'm clearly his husband. Pui. It's his quiver. Pui, it's his disciple. Shi Yao shook her head to clear her mind before replying to Mr. Numbers' message. Oh, I'm going to have dinner too. Bye, talk to you later. Less than 111,111. After Shi Yao was done chatting with Mr. Numbers, she didn't forget to treat Ling Nguan, He Tian, and Jiang Yu to dinner. He Tian was the one who chose the location for dinner. As it wasn't too late, she chose a Yunnan restaurant located on the 5th floor of a shopping mall some distance away from the school. By the time they arrived, it was already 7 p.m., so there was no need for them to wait for a table. After taking a seat, Shi Yao first ordered what she wanted to eat before passing the menu to Ling Nguan and the others before rushing to the washroom. After coming out of the washroom, Shi Yao stood in front of the sink. As she washed her hands, her phone kept ringing non-stop in her pocket. After washing her hands, she grabbed a napkin and wiped the water droplets off her hands. As she walked out of the washroom, she reached for her phone and looked at the screen. A series of notifications popped up. The number looked a little familiar, but Shi Yao wasn't able to identify who it was. Tapping on it, the first thing she saw was a picture. She zoomed in and saw a man and a woman sitting opposite each other in front of a floor-to-ceiling window. Shi Yao didn't recognize the woman, but even though she could only see the side of her face, she could still tell that her facial features were beautiful. As for the man, Shi Yao couldn't be more familiar with him. He was Lin Jiej, whom she hadn't seen since her birthday. From the photo, it could be seen that Lin Jiej was quite familiar with the young lady. There wasn't a hint of aloofness in his eyes. Shi Yao stared at the photo for a long time before looking at the other messages. I heard that Brother Jia called off his engagement with you? Just from the tone of his voice and the words Brother Jia, Shi Yao could already tell who the other party was. Liang Mumu. No wonder her phone number sounded so familiar. In fact, she used to keep her phone number, but after they fell out, she deleted it from her contact list. However, they had been friends for many years. Although she didn't know her number by heart, she had a general idea of the 11 digits. But I don't think you'll reply to my message, right? It's okay, I didn't expect you to reply to my message anyway. You don't know the girl in the photo, right? After all, by the time you met Brother Jia, she was already overseas. Her name is Liang Xiao. Although we have the same surname, we have nothing to do with each other. You probably don't know much about her, right? But don't worry, I can explain it to you. Chapter 730. She's 2 years older than Brother Jia and she used to like Brother Jia. She was in the same school as Brother Jia and back then she pursued Brother Jia fervently. If you don't believe me, you can ask Sis Jiayi, my cousin, or even Brother Jia's classmates in middle school. In any case, Liang Xiao's pursuit of Brother Jia is something that everyone in their school knows about. You might not know this, but back then Liang Xiao was extremely daring. Back then she even pulled up a banner and confessed to Brother Jia. Of course, that wasn't the craziest thing she did. The craziest thing she did was to stay back 2 years for Brother Jia and forcefully become his classmate. As for Brother Jia's feelings for her, I'm not too sure either. What I can tell you is that when many people went to ask Brother Jia about their math problems in middle school, Brother Jia only replied with one sentence. MIA teacher. Liang Xiao was the only exception. Brother Jia had helped her with the math problems. Back then this matter caused quite a commotion in the school. Oh, that's not all. When Liang Xiao left the country, Brother Jia even sent her off at the airport. She just arrived in Beijing this morning and Brother Jia had dinner with her at Jin Maoyue. You might not know about this, right? Jin Maoyue is a well-known restaurant in Beijing. Back when Liang Xiao was still in Beijing, she loved to eat there. Right, there's one more thing. I heard that the Lin family is currently looking for a new fiancé for Brother Jia. Grandpa Lin and Liang Zhao's grandfather played chess together 2 days ago, and they had dinner together yesterday. They seem to be meeting up every other day and my aunt said that they seem to be discussing marriage. Lastly, the reason why I'm sending you so many messages is to let you know that other than you, any of the girls around Brother Jia are many times better than you. Liang Mumu, is there something wrong with her? She must be doing this on purpose. She liked Lin Jiege but she couldn't get him. Now that she saw Lin Jiege with another girl, she decided to vent her anger in front of Shi Yao. Shi Yao really wanted to send a message to retort back, but barely after she tapped on her phone's keyboard and typed out a few words she suddenly froze. Liang Mumu was just feeling a little uncomfortable. If she were to reply angrily, wouldn't that be indirectly telling her that she had been affected by her words? Forget it, there's no need to get angry at her. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao deleted the words that she had typed earlier one by one. Yao Yao. Just as Shi Yao was about to delete everything, Leng Wan's voice sounded from the front. Shi Yao raised her head. Meeting her gaze, Leng Wan spoke up once more. I thought that something had happened to you. It's been so long since you returned. No, I just answered a phone call. Oh, then hurry up and go in to eat. All the dishes have been served. Shi Yao nodded vigorously before returning to the dining hall with Leng Wan. After sitting down, she picked up a pair of chopsticks and added a piece of fish to her plate. As soon as she brought it to her mouth, the photo that Liang Mumu had sent her earlier flashed across her mind. Yao Yao? Why are you in a daze while biting your chopsticks? Sitting across from Shi Yao, He Tian noticed that Shi Yao was staring at her plate without eating, so she tapped her chopsticks lightly on her plate. Recovering from her daze, Shi Yao replied with an "og" before picking up the bowl of soup that Leng Wan had served for her. However, barely after taking 2 mouthfuls, the messages that Liang Mumu had sent flashed across her mind. She picked up her bowl and fell into a daze once more. Chapter 731. Yao Yao. The one who noticed Shi Yao's abnormality was Jiang Yu. She called out to Shi Yao, but seeing that the latter was ignoring her, she waved her hand in front of Shi Yao's face and said, Yao Yao, why are you staring at the bowl? Is there a fly in it? Shi Yao's eyes followed Jiang Yu's movements, and it was only then that she snapped out of her daze. She pouted and said, Yao Yue, what nonsense are you talking about? We're eating right now. Jiang Yu, since you know that we're eating, why aren't you eating? He Tian, that's right. You've always been the most enthusiastic when it comes to eating, so why didn't you eat earlier? Compared to Jiang Yu and He Tian, Leng Wan, who was sitting beside Shi Yao, was much more considerate and gentle. Are you feeling unwell? As she spoke, Leng Wan touched Shi Yao's forehead and after confirming that her temperature was normal, she tilted her head to look at Shi Yao for a moment before asking, Or, did you meet with some trouble? It's nothing. It's just that the CET 6 exam is coming up soon, so I'm wondering if I should just take it in the second half of this year. Shi Yao came up with a random excuse to gloss over it. However, she wasn't good at lying, so after saying those words, she lowered her head and drank her soup to conceal the helplessness in her eyes. He Tian, who had barely passed the CET 4 exam in the first half of the semester but failed it, was displeased. Yao Yao, you're going too far. I haven't even passed the CET 4 exam yet, and you're already thinking of passing the CET 6 exam? Are you going to pass the CET 8 exam by the time I pass the CET 4 exam? Jiang Yu, who hadn't even registered for the CET 4 exam yet, nodded in agreement. I'm on Tiantian's side. Yao Yao, you're going too far. Even if you're treating us to a meal today, I still think that you're going too far. Faced with Jiang Yu and He Tiantian's displeasure, Shi Yao's eyes curved into crescents as she gestured for everyone to continue eating. After a few mouthfuls, Shi Yao's chopsticks suddenly stopped moving once more. But this time she didn't fall into a daze. Instead she tilted her head and pondered for a moment before saying, "Oh right, let me ask you guys something. Say, if there's a girl with a good background and good looks, this good, it's really good, it's like, Shi Yao tilted her head to the side and pondered for a moment before replying. Other cakes might be strawberry or mango cakes, but this cake is filled with strawberries, mangoes, oranges and peaches. In any case, it's filled with all the fruits you can think of." Tian had a mouthful of food in her mouth, and after hearing Shi Yao's description she silently shot her a thumbs up. Jiang Yu looked at Shi Yao with admiration in her eyes and said, "Yao Yao, in terms of description, I'm convinced that you're the only one I'm convinced of." Chapter 732. As for the boy, he treated the girl in a special way. In the entire school she was the only one he had ever given lessons to. Later, when the girl went overseas, he sent her off at the airport. Later the girl returned to the country. That night, the boy and the girl met up for dinner. After explaining everything to them, Shi Yao asked the question that had been bothering her for a while. "Do you think that the guy is interested in the girl?" Throughout the entire story, Jiang Yu had been biting on her chopsticks as she listened intently to Shi Yao's story. Instead of answering her question, she asked, "What happened after that?" "Shi Yao, I really want to know what happens next." "Jiang Yu, looks like it's a serialized novel." "I hate serialized novels the most, but I can't help it. I've been kept in suspense by you. Yao Yao, please give me the title." "Serialization? Book title? What the hell was this?" Shi Yao frowned. "What book is it called?" "Jiang Yu, what else could it be? It's the title of the story you just told me." Tian nodded vehemently. "Me too. What the hell? She had talked for half a day and they actually treated it as a novel?" "Shi Yao, it's not a novel. It's the truth. It really happened." Jiang Yu waved her hand in disbelief. "Don't tease me. Let me tell you, I've seen many similar novels on the internet. There are at least 800 of them, if not 1,000. That's a typical school novel. When two people are young, they have feelings for each other. Before they can confirm their relationship, one of them goes abroad, causing them to separate. After many years, they meet again and the male and female protagonists finally fall in love with each other." Tian nodded in agreement. That's right. Yao, don't try to deceive us with your novel. Only those authors who indulge in the wildest fantasies are capable of coming up with such a perfect fruit cake. There's no such thing as a perfect fruit cake in real life, so just tell us the title of your novel. Even if you don't have a title, it's fine too. You should at least remember the names of the male and female leads, right? Give it to me and I will immediately search for it on Baidu. What was going on these days? Does no one believe you when you speak the truth?" Shi Yao puffed up her cheeks and said, "I swear on all the snacks in my dormitory cupboard that I'm telling the truth. And in the story I just told, the boy and the girl were eating together at this very moment." Jiang Yu asked, "Did you swear on your snacks?" "Looks like it's true." Tian nudged her head closer to Shi Yao and asked, "Who's the boy and girl? Is he from our school? Do we know each other? But then again, Yao, boy and girl eating together, what does it have to do with you? Why do you care so much?" Hearing Tian's seemingly ordinary words, Shi Yao suddenly felt a little sheepish. "One of my friends told me a story about one of her friends. She asked me if that guy had any feelings for a girl, and that's when she asked me if that guy was interested in a girl. I don't know either, so I came to ask you." "Oh, I see. So, it was your friend who asked you about it." Jiang Yu was very convinced by Shi Yao's explanation. Based on the plot of novels, a man would surely have feelings for a woman, and it's a very deep one at that. It's the kind of feeling where he'll marry no one but her. Deep feelings marrying no one but her. Shi Yao's fingers trembled and she nearly dropped her chopsticks on the table. Chapter 733. After Shi Yao calmed herself down, she subconsciously spoke up. Even though her voice was still soft and adorable, the speed at which she spoke was clearly a little anxious. Yeah, I've already told you that this isn't a novel but reality. Don't try to give me an answer based on a novel." Hearing Shi Yao's words, Leng Wan lowered her gaze, and while the other three weren't paying attention, her lips curled up slightly. Shi Yao was frightened by Jiang Yu's words. Judging from her reaction, she was probably afraid that the person in question wasn't her so-called friend but herself. After all, if it was really a matter of a friend, why would she be so nervous? She didn't know every single person she knew, but based on what she had just described, Lin Jiej was probably the only one who came from a good background and family, and he fit the role of a male lead in a novel. So Lin Jiej had invited an outstanding lady to dinner tonight, and she found out about it, so she couldn't sit still? While Ling Nuan silently pondered over the matter, the other three were still engaged in a lively discussion. Jiang Yu, who had been inexplicably scolded by Shi Yao, pouted indignantly, "I've never been in a relationship before, so how would I know? The only answer I can give you is the plot in the novel." He Tianton, putting aside the plot in the novel Yao, based on what you've just described, the man only explained the questions to the lady, and he even sent her off at the airport when she left the country. From this, it can be seen that the lady is very special to the man. As soon as the lady returned to the country, the man couldn't wait to ask her out for dinner. From this, it can also be seen that the man has been thinking about the lady all these years. Special thinking about the lady? Shi Yao's mouth fell open for a moment before she finally spoke. "Is it really as exaggerated as you make it out to be?" Hearing those words, Leng Nuan broke the silence. "Exaggerated? Tian isn't exaggerating at all. In fact, she's being very subtle about it. In my opinion, the lady isn't just special to the man. It's very important." As Leng Nuan spoke, she discreetly shot a glance at Shi Yao. When Shi Yao said the words "very important," the lady's fingers had clearly tightened around her chopsticks. Ever since Lin Jiej had asked her to take care of Shi Yao when she was crying on the field, she had already known that her feelings for Lin Jiej had probably fallen for him. Back then she had thought that her feelings for Lin Jiej were just the beginning. But from the looks of it now, it seemed like she had already fallen deeply into his affections, just that she didn't realize it. From the looks of it, Shi Yao needed a dose of medicine to stimulate her. With such thoughts in mind, Leng Nuan spoke up once more. "Based on what you've said earlier, the two families are of similar backgrounds, so it's clear that they're well matched in terms of social standing. Furthermore, they're childhood sweethearts. This is a match bestowed by the heavens." Fate bestowed by the heavens. Shi Yao's face paled a little. She hesitated for a moment before stuttering. Her words didn't seem to be directed at Leng Nuan but more to console herself. "But if what you said is true and the man is interested in the woman, why didn't the man agree to the woman's confession?" Chapter 734. However, it doesn't matter whether the man had feelings for the woman back then or not. What's more important is that they've been apart for so many years, and yet, the woman is already having dinner together after returning to the country? What does that mean? It means that they've been in contact with each other all these years. At this point, Leng Nuan's gaze swept over the young lady beside her. Even though the young lady was trying her best to maintain her composure, the occasional movement of her feet betrayed her uneasiness. Leng Nuan knew that the dose of medicine she'd used earlier wasn't enough, so she added another stab. "Yao, I'm sure you've heard of this saying before. It's difficult for a man to woo a man, but it's very easy for a woman to woo a man. Furthermore, a man like the man you've just mentioned is the dream husband of many women. Not everyone in this society is righteous, and there are many people who are scheming to some extent, and there are also many who won't give up just to achieve their goals. Thus, there are some women who will resort to all sorts of methods to woo a man. The most direct one is to get drunk, go to the beach together, and purposely show off a little something to the man to seduce him. Of course, there are also some women who despise such methods, but think about it, if a beautiful and proactive woman from a good family were to send herself to the man's doorstep, it's inevitable that the man wouldn't be moved." At this point, Leng Nuan could see a hint of panic in the depths of Shi Yao's eyes. She knew that her medicine had stimulated Shi Yao enough, but it wasn't enough. More importantly, she wanted Shi Yao to see her own heart. With this thought in mind, Leng Nuan spoke up once more. "Right, Yao, you said that your friend asked you about this matter. Is your friend a man or a woman?" "She's a woman." Shi Yao tilted her head and asked, "What's wrong?" "She's a woman?" Leng Nuan countered with a question. A moment later she said, "That woman probably likes that man, right?" If Shi Yao had made it clear that this was her own experience, it would have been hard for her to explain. But now that she said that it was a question from her friend, it made things easier for her. "Likes?" Leng Nuan said that this woman likes that man. In other words, she likes Lin Jiej? You like Lin Jiej? Shi Yao's mind went blank. She stared at Ling Wan in shock for a moment before she muttered, "You like him?" "Yeah. Your friend definitely likes that guy. If she doesn't like him, why would she care if he's interested in that girl?" Ling Wan paused for a moment. Then, as if recalling something, she continued, "Well, it's not that I'm concerned about it. To be more precise, I'm very concerned about it, and other than that, I'm also jealous." "I jealous?" Shi Yao was still in a daze. "Yeah, jealous. If I'm not wrong, your friend should be really wanting to go to the place where the guy and the girl are eating to see what's going on with them." Struck right into the heart of the matter, Shi Yao blurted out, "How did you know?" Chapter 735. I see. Leng Wan put on a confident look, not exposing Shi Yao's lie. "Looks like your friend is a little too jealous, much more so than I thought. It's the kind of jealousy that can overturn a vinegar jar. If I'm not mistaken, your friend is probably intending to send that guy a message to ask him what he's doing right now." At the same time, this time Shi Yao didn't say anything. Leng Wan ate 2 mouthfuls of food before continuing, "Yao Yao, even though I don't know your friend, there's something that I think you should advise her as her friend. If she really likes that guy, she should muster up the courage to fight for him. There are many things in this world that one has to grasp with one's own 2 hands. No one will stay in the same spot forever waiting for you. Perhaps he might wait for a month, 2 months, or even a year, but as time goes by, everyone gets tired. Besides, there are so many temptations in this world and no one can guarantee what will happen in the next moment. Sometimes fate can just disappear like that." Ling Wan knew that some words should be kept in check or else they might just backfire. So after saying all that, she chose to end the topic at the right time. "I accidentally went off topic, so let's not talk about this anymore. Yao Yao, you haven't eaten much, so hurry up and eat." As she spoke, Ling Wan picked up 2 more dishes for Shi Yao. Shi Yao still didn't say a word, but she picked up her chopsticks and began eating. Halfway through her meal, she suddenly stopped. If Ling Wan hadn't mentioned it, she wouldn't have realized that her panic and fear when Lin Jierge annulled his engagement with her was actually because she liked him. Her reluctance to annul the engagement with him was because she liked him. Her unwillingness to go to his place to buy a cake when she found out that there was no one to accompany him on his birthday was also because she liked him. She didn't know when she fell in love with him, but at this very moment she was convinced that he liked him. Perhaps she had liked him a long time ago, but because she had always felt that they were not in the same world, and because she had never thought of liking him, she subconsciously concealed and denied the feelings that had sprouted in her heart. Perhaps deep down she was well aware of her feelings for him, but because she had stumbled upon her parents' secret, she didn't dare to like him anymore. She had always wanted to return the money to the Lin family, but she wasn't in such a hurry before. Now she was in such a hurry because she was afraid. Afraid that the Lin family would find out what her parents were thinking. Afraid that he would look down on them. Ling Wan was right. Not only did she want to head over to the place where Lin Jierge was eating with Liang Xiao, she also wanted to send him a message. Even though she was eating with Ling Wan and the others, her heart and soul had already been hooked away by Lin Jierge. She was jealous. She was 100% unwilling to have him spend dinner with that girl. As this thought flashed across Shi Yao's mind with absolute certainty, she suddenly raised her head to look at Ling Wan and the others. "Do you have any more dishes?" He Tian shook her head. "There's no need for that. Don't we still have a lot to eat?" Shi Yao replied with an oak before gesturing for the waiter to pay the bill. "Jiang Yu, Yao Yao, we haven't finished eating yet. Why are you in such a hurry to pay the bill?" Shi Yao took out her phone and scanned the QR code as she replied, "You guys enjoy your meal. I have something on, so I'll be leaving first." Chapter 736. What's the matter? He Tian raised her head to look at Shi Yao. "What's the matter?" "That's right. You don't have to tutor your students today, so what could possibly be the matter?" Jiang Yu glanced at the time on her phone and said, "Besides, it's already past 8. It's getting late. What are you going to do? Why don't I accompany you instead?" It's fine. Shi Yao was in the midst of stuffing her things into her bag when she heard Jiang Yu's words, and she hurriedly shook her head. "It's fine, Yao. Given our relationship, there's no need to stand on ceremony with me. Besides, we'll be worried if you're going alone at night." As Jiang Yu spoke, she stuffed her phone into her bag and prepared to leave with Shi Yao. She was simply feeling uneasy and she wanted to check on Lin Jiege. How could she possibly ask her to accompany her? This time not only did Shi Yao shake her head, she even waved her hands at Jiang Yu and said, Yeah, there's really no need for that. Besides, this is the capital and it's very safe here. Nothing will go wrong. No matter how safe the capital is, there's still a chance that something might go wrong. Look at how many cases of girls getting into trouble when they go out alone. It's better to be safe than sorry. Before Jiang Yu could finish her words, Leng Wan interjected, Yeah, let Yao Yao go alone. But Jiang Yu opened her mouth wanting to say something, but she only managed to utter 2 words before Leng Wan interrupted her once more. There are no buts. Besides, everyone has their own private life. Sometimes, excessive concern and passion might not necessarily be considered caring to a friend but a burden instead. Hearing Leng Wan's words, Jiang Yu's lips twitched a little before she turned to Shi Yao and said, All right then. Yao, be careful when you're alone. Shi Yao's eyes crinkled up into a smile. Enjoy your meal and head back to school after you're done. I'll be leaving first. Bye-bye. After bidding farewell to Leng Wan and the others, Shi Yao picked up her bag and left in a hurry. After leaving the shopping mall, she flagged down a taxi by the roadside and headed to Jin Maoyue. By the time the taxi reached its destination, it was already 9 p.m. After paying the fare and alighting from the car, Shi Yao saw quite a few customers walking out of Jin Maoyue's main entrance. I wonder if Lin Jiege and that female student named Liang Xiao are still around? Shi Yao stood at the entrance and contemplated for a moment before making her way over to Jin Maoyue's main hall. There was a waiter standing at the entrance of the revolving door. When he saw her, he said apologetically, Miss, I'm sorry. We're closed now. We don't receive customers. Closed meals? A slight frown appeared on Shi Yao's forehead. It was already 9 o'clock in the evening and most of the big restaurants in Beijing had already closed for the day, but she had to go in right now. She couldn't say that she was here to look for someone, because she didn't know which table Lin Jiege and the others were seated at. Miss, is there anything else? Seeing that Shi Yao wasn't saying a word and she happened to be blocking the way out, the waitress politely spoke up once more. She knew that the attendant was indirectly asking her to leave, but she couldn't just leave. At the same time, she couldn't just stand there shamelessly. No, I'm not here to eat, I'm. Chapter 737. After saying those words, Shi Yao wished that she could bite her tongue off. Before entering Jin Maoyue, she had clearly seen a 24-hour KFC across the street, and to the left of Jin Maoyue was a McDonald's. But since she had already come up with a reason, she couldn't possibly just tear down her own cover, could she? Besides, it didn't matter whether the reason was embarrassing or not. What was important was that it was effective. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao's eyes darted around for a moment before she stomped her feet anxiously and said, I'm really in a hurry, please. The attendant didn't expect Shi Yao to make such a request either, and she was stunned for a full 10 seconds. It was only after Shi Yao spoke up once more that she snapped out of her daze and pointed in a direction. Miss, you can head down this road and turn left. You'll see the washroom there. Shi Yao smiled at the waitress and thanked her before following the direction she was pointing in. As if she had seen hope, she jogged over to the washroom. After entering the restaurant, no one paid any attention to Shi Yao anymore. She quickly scanned the entire restaurant before finding Lin Jiege's seat by the window. They had probably finished their meal by now. Other than dessert, there was only a plate of fruits on the table. In truth, Lin Jiege wasn't seated at the table. There was only a woman there. Even though Shi Yao had never met Liang Xiao before, she could still tell from the photo that she had seen earlier that she was Liang Xiao. Liang Xiao looked much more beautiful in real life than in the photo that Liang Mumu had sent her. At this moment, she was holding a mirror in her hand and reapplying her lipstick. Even though Shi Yao couldn't get a good look at Liang Xiao from afar, she could still sense the latter's overwhelming beauty and the elegance and disposition that had been nurtured from a young age. It wasn't that Shi Yao hadn't seen beautiful and outstanding women before, but this was the first time she was comparing herself to someone else. Liang Mumu was right. No matter how she looked at Liang Xiao looked better than her. Everyone had their own strengths, but for some reason Shi Yao couldn't help but feel inferior when she looked at Liang Xiao. Perhaps this was the embodiment of liking someone. You'd always feel that you weren't good enough, afraid that you weren't good enough, and always want to make yourself better. While Shi Yao was deep in thought as she stared at Liang Xiao, Lin Jierge walked over. Noticing Lin Jierge's presence, Liang Xiao stopped reapplying her lipstick and raised her head to look at him. Lin Jierge's back was facing Shi Yao, so she couldn't see the expression on his face. However, she could clearly see the dazzling smile blossoming on Liang Xiao's face the instant her eyes met Lin Jierge's. Lin Jierge didn't sit down. Instead, the two of them continued chatting, one standing while the other lifted his head. It was hard to tell what they were discussing, but eventually, Lin Jierge took his coat from the back of the chair while Liang Xiao stuffed her mirror and lipstick into her bag before standing up. Did they mean that they were leaving? Shi Yao quickly scanned her surroundings before hiding behind a pillar not too far away. Soon Lin Jierge and Liang Xiao walked over. Along the way, the two of them seemed to be talking about something. Most of it was Liang Xiao speaking, but Shi Yao didn't pay much attention to what the latter was saying. She only knew that Liang Xiao was beautiful and elegant, and even her voice was pleasant to the ears. Chapter 738. Liang Xiao was wearing a pair of red heels that accentuated her long and slender legs. Shi Yao wasn't sure if she was imagining things to be too perfect, but even the sound of her walking in heels sounded pleasant to her ears. Shi Yao waited for them to walk out of the main hall before discreetly following them. Through the glass door, she saw that the restaurant's doorman had already driven Lin Jierge's car to the entrance. Lin Jierge casually pulled open the back door and gestured for Liang Xiao to get in. After which he walked over to the driver's seat, took the car keys from the doorman and got into the car. Back then when he was driving, she was sitting in the back seat and he even retorted sarcastically, "Am I the driver?" Then he even had her get out of the car and sit in the front passenger seat. Why didn't he have Liang Xiao get out of the car and sit in the front passenger seat instead? Shi Yao stared at Lin Jierge's car as anger welled up in her heart. Soon the car drove away from Jean Maoyue's entrance. Shi Yao hurriedly chased after it. She glanced in the direction that Lin Jierge's car was heading in, so she flagged down a taxi by the roadside and hurriedly chased after it. When they passed by the entrance of the Four Seasons Hotel, Lin Jierge's car slowed down a little, and Shi Yao subconsciously tightened her grip on the handle. What do you mean? Are they heading to a hotel? With widened eyes, Shi Yao held her breath as she stared intently at the car in front of her. It wasn't until the car sped up once more and drove away from the entrance of the Four Seasons Hotel that Shi Yao heaved a sigh of relief, as if she had just escaped death. After passing by the Four Seasons Hotel, they soon arrived at Lin Jierge's apartment. Around 100 meters away, the car began to slow down, and Shi Yao instinctively clenched her fists tightly. When the car stopped at the entrance of Lin Jierge's neighborhood, Shi Yao abruptly stood up, and her head knocked onto the roof of the car. The pain nearly made her tears flow down her cheeks. Ignoring the strange gaze that the driver was shooting at her, she gasped in shock and rubbed her head. Then she saw Lin Jierge's car moving once more, and it seemed like it was heading toward the entrance of the neighborhood. Is Lin Jierge bringing Liang Xiao back to his place? Shi Yao subconsciously pushed open the car door intending to get out. But barely after she opened the door a little, Lin Jierge's car sped up and drove away. Shi Yao closed the car door and instructed the taxi driver to keep up. Roughly 10 minutes later, Lin Jierge's car drove into the underground parking lot of the Golden Resplendence. So, did Lin Jierge and Liang Xiao head to Golden Resplendence to play after dinner? She had only been to this place once, and it was when Grandpa Lin had asked him to bring her here. Shi Yao stared at the dazzling Golden Resplendence through the car window for a moment before the driver asked, "Miss, are we driving into the underground parking lot too?" "There's no need for that." After replying to the driver, Shi Yao took out some cash from her wallet and paid the fare before getting out of the car. In late autumn in Beijing, it was already very cold at night. A gust of cold wind blew past, causing Shi Yao to shiver uncontrollably. After which she turned her attention back to Golden Resplendence. Since they came here to play, they would definitely drink, right? Chapter 739. As these questions flashed across Shi Yao's mind, the image of Liang Xiao holding Lin Jierge's arm and walking toward her slowly surfaced in her mind. As Liang Xiao got closer and closer to her, her stomach slowly grew larger. When she was right in front of her, a white and soft carrot suddenly fell out of her stomach. She instinctively lowered her head to take a look, but that wasn't a carrot at all. It was a chubby doll waving its arms around, begging for her to hug it. As Shi Yao imagined this, it was as if there was really a carrot right in front of her. She instinctively took 2 steps back in horror before lowering her head to take a closer look. Only after confirming that there was nothing in front of her did she heave a sigh of relief. Shi Yao closed her eyes and took in 2 deep breaths to calm her heart, which had been inexplicably frightened by the carrot, before raising her head once more to look at golden resplendence. The thought of liking him had never crossed her mind, so even though her heart had wavered, it was quickly covered up by her deep-rooted self-suggestion. If not for Leng Wan's casual conversation with her, thinking that she was her friend, she would never have realized that she liked him. Since she didn't want him to be with other girls, she was afraid that he would really be chased away by other girls. Besides, she was already here. There was no reason for her to back down just because Liang Xiao looked outstanding. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao gulped down a mouthful of saliva. As if summoning all her courage, she began walking toward the main entrance of golden resplendence. However, she had only walked about 10 meters when the phone in her bag suddenly rang. As Shi Yao walked forward, she hurriedly took out her phone and took a look at the caller ID. It was from her cousin, Gu Nanqiang. Without any hesitation, she accepted the call. "What's wrong, Nanqiang? Sis, where are you right now? My mom just called me, saying that your father suddenly fainted and was sent to the hospital for emergency treatment. My mom then said that she couldn't get through to you no matter how hard she tried. What's going on?" As her parents had been trying everything they could to force her to beg Lin Jierge back, she had blacklisted their number. Hearing Gu Nanqiang's words, Shi Yao abruptly halted her footsteps and asked, "Which hospital is he in?" "I don't know, you have to ask my mom." Before Gu Nanqiang could finish his words, Shi Yao had already hurriedly hung up the call. She pulled out her mother's phone number from the blacklist and returned the call. A second before the phone was picked up, the next second there was her mother's crying voice. "Yao Yao, your father is now in the hospital for emergency treatment. You need to come quickly." While asking for the address, Shi Yao turned around and walked toward the side of the road. After hanging up the call with her mother, she reached out to hail a taxi. After pulling open the door, she turned to look at the majestic clubhouse behind her. After thinking for a moment, she finally bent over and sat in the car. The reason why Lin Jierge asked Liang Xiao out tonight couldn't be considered as a personal matter. More than that, it was for official business. After dinner, he received a call. Because it was not convenient for Liang Xiao to hear the content of the conversation, he apologized to Liang Xiao and went to a quieter place to talk on the phone. Chapter 740. Why is she here? Lin Jierge stared at Shi Yao for a moment, only to realize that she was staring fixedly at the table where he and Liang Xiao were seated. Or to be more precise, she was staring fixedly at Liang Xiao. At this hour, Jean Maoyue should have already closed her restaurant, so it was unlikely that she was here to eat. Then for her to be here. Lin Jierge found it hard to believe, but a sliver of hope still lingered in his heart. Thus he suppressed his urge to walk up to her and walked straight up to Liang Xiao. Upon seeing him, Liang Xiao raised her head and told him that Liang Jisi knew that she was back, so he invited her over to have some fun at Golden Resplendence. It was still early and she had just returned to the country, so her biological clock hadn't adjusted yet. Thus she agreed to Liang Jisi's invitation. She even asked him if he wanted to tag along. Lin Jierge's first thought was to reject her invitation, but just as the words were about to leave his mouth, he changed his mind and said that he wouldn't be able to stay for too long, but he could give her a lift on the way. After paying the bill, Shi Yao probably sensed that he and Liang Xiao were about to leave the restaurant, so she hid behind a pillar. Pretending that he didn't know that she was there, he left the restaurant with Liang Xiao. He knew that she was watching him, and he admitted that he was curious to see her reaction after seeing him with another woman. Nevertheless, he still didn't allow Liang Xiao to sit in the front passenger seat. Instead, he opened the back door for her and let her in. Through the rearview mirror, he saw her running out of Jean Maoyue not too long after. He wasn't sure whether she was following him or not, so he slowed down a little. It was only after she flagged down a taxi by the roadside and followed behind him that he felt assured enough to continue driving. However, he was still afraid that she would lose him, so whenever he saw her car being blocked by another car, he would slow down and wait for her to catch up before speeding up again. When he passed by the Four Seasons Hotel, he intentionally stopped for a moment. However, he didn't want Liang Xiao to see through his thoughts, so he pointed to the renovations that the Four Seasons Hotel had undergone over the years and chatted with her. In fact, from the Four Seasons Hotel to the majestic clubhouse, there was no need to pass through the entrance of his neighborhood. However, he deliberately took a detour and parked the car at the entrance of his neighborhood. He gave Liang Xiao a brief explanation of the facilities in his house. After Liang Xiao was done, he went to the majestic clubhouse. When he entered the underground parking lot of the Golden Lounge, he pretended to receive a message and stopped the car. He looked like he was replying to the message with his head lowered, but in reality, all his attention was on the roadside. He saw her taxi stop by the roadside, and after she got out of the car, he stepped on the accelerator and drove into the underground parking lot. Lin Jie and Liang Xiao entered the suite one after another, and they didn't stay for too long before they left. However, he didn't head to the underground parking lot right away. Instead, he headed straight to the lobby and sat in the resting area, staring at the entrance of the lobby. She followed him all the way, and she even stared at Liang Xiao without blinking at Jin Maoyue. So tonight she purposely followed him? Would she have followed him into the majestic clubhouse after seeing him enter with a girl? 1 minute passed, 5 minutes passed, 10 minutes passed. Chapter 741. Hearing those words, Lin Jie shot a glance at Liang Jusi before replying nonchalantly, "I just received a call." Believing his words, Liang Jusi replied with an "oh." There was no sign of Lin Jie lying at all. When he spoke once more, his voice was exceptionally calm and composed. "What about you?" "Me. I'm going out to buy a pack of cigarettes." Lin Jie replied with an before shooting a glance at the door, gesturing for Liang Jusi to hurry up. Seemingly understanding the hint in Lin Jie's eyes, Liang Jusi quickly left. Lin Jie lingered in the resting area for a while longer. Seeing that Shi Yao hadn't returned yet, he went to the underground parking lot to get his car. He drove slowly to the roadside and parked at the spot where Shi Yao had gotten out of the car. She followed him all the way here, but she still didn't manage to enter. Rolling down the car window, Lin Jie stared at the empty space where Shi Yao's figure had disappeared for a very long time before he finally suppressed the slight disappointment in his heart. Rolling up the car window, he stepped on the accelerator once more and drove away. The traffic was relatively good at night, so it only took Shi Yao an hour and 15 minutes to reach the district hospital near her home. Shi Yao hurriedly ran to the nurse's station and gave them her father's name. After learning which ward her father was in, she quickly took the elevator up. When she reached the ward, Shi Yao didn't even bother to knock on the door before pushing it open and rushing in. There was a needle in her father's arm, and he was lying motionlessly on the bed. Her mother was sitting by his side, her eyes red and swollen from crying. Upon seeing this sight, Shi Yao's heart clenched in pain. She quickly rushed to the bedside. Perhaps it was due to the recent conflict, but Shi Yao's expression was a little unnatural. Nevertheless, she still called out softly, "Dad." Hearing Shi Yao's voice, Father Shi opened his eyes weakly and glanced at her. "Yeah." His voice was very gentle, just like before she'd seen him quarreling with her mother. It was the same loving tone he used to speak to her. Hearing those words, Shi Yao's eyes reddened. "Dad, how are you feeling?" Shi Yao turned to her mother and asked, "Mom, what happened to Dad?" Mrs. Shi wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes. "After your dad finished dinner, he went to take a shower. I was washing the dishes in the kitchen when I heard a thud. Then I pushed open the bathroom door and saw your dad unconscious on the floor." "Shi Yao, what did the doctor say? Is it serious?" "Mother Shi, it's not serious, but I'm afraid I'll have to take medicine all year round in the future. Also, I asked about the price of that medicine and it's very expensive." "It doesn't matter if it's expensive. I'll think of a way. You don't have to worry about it. The main thing is to let my father recover. That still costs a lot of money. Your father doesn't even have a proper job." As Mother Shi spoke, she exchanged glances with Father Shi before continuing. "Yao Yao, if your marriage with Jie hadn't been called off, your father might have been able to see a better doctor and take better medicine. But now," Mama Shi reached out to wipe her tears and sighed. Had it been some time ago, Shi Yao would have definitely rejected such words from her mother and refused to talk to her. But now that her father was already in such a state, Even though she still felt uncomfortable hearing those words, she didn't talk back. The ward fell silent for a moment before Mother Sure spoke up once more. Yao Yao, is there really no hope between you and Jej? Chapter 742. How are you going to earn money? You're still in school. After replying to Shi Yao's question, Mother Shi quickly changed the topic back to the original topic. Your father and I went to look for Grandpa Lin a few days ago, but he didn't seem to be interested in your marriage. Shi Yao frowned. Not only did they fail to look for her, they even went to look for Grandpa Lin. She was displeased, but she still tried her best to suppress it. Seeing that Shi Yao wasn't responding, Mother Shi continued, Yao Yao, can't you look for Jej? Look, this isn't the first time I've begged you for this matter. Your father is sick now and the family is in dire need of money. For your father's sake, can't you look for Jej instead? Your father and I have brought you up, but we've never placed our hopes on you. Do you really have the heart to treat us like this? Oh, I know that you're a filial child. You've always listened to me since you were young, so listen to me one more time, alright? Just apologize to Jej and apologize to him. If you really can't do it, you can look for Grandpa Lin. Grandpa Lin dotes on you the most, so as long as you step forward, he'll definitely help you. Back then, didn't Grandpa Lin help you settle the matter when Jej refused to get engaged to you? Now just give Jej a call. It's settled then. I'll help you make the call, alright? As Mother Shi spoke, she reached into Shi Yao's bag and took out her phone. Since the phone was locked, Mother Shi couldn't use it. Thus, she passed the phone over to Shi Yao and had her unlock it. Yao Yao, unlock it. Shi Yao pursed her lips as she stared at the phone, not moving for a long time. Yao, unlock it. Mother Shi urged once more, but seeing that there was still no response, she picked up Shi Yao's hand and placed her thumb on the phone. Just as Shi Yao's fingertips were about to touch the screen, Shi Yao suddenly reached out and snatched the phone from her mother's hand. Then she freed herself from her mother's grip. Yao Yao, didn't we agree to call Jej? As Mother Shi spoke, she reached out to grab Shi Yao's hand once more. This time, Shi Yao didn't wait for her mother to touch her before she took a step back. She thought that she had made her intentions clear, but it seemed like her parents still didn't understand what she was trying to say. Taking a deep breath, she repeated what she had said before. I won't call Lin Jej because I didn't do anything wrong. There's no need for me to apologize to him. We don't have that much money, but we can rely on our own efforts to earn money. The Lin family's money is the Lin family's. We have no obligation to think of ways to get money from the Lin family. That was what she had said to her parents the last time they met. However, her words were much more resolute after that. She had said, I will never be with Lin Jej again, so you should just give up on me. But this time when those words reached Shi Yao's lips, she hesitated. She paused for a moment before continuing. Regardless of whether Lin Jej and I end up together or not, I won't allow you to do such a thing. Chapter 743. Yes, you're right. As your daughter, I have the responsibility to give you money to spend and show filial piety to you. As your son-in-law, he has the responsibility to do the same as well. However, you should know very well that this has never been a matter of obligation. Back then, if Grandpa Lin hadn't offered a betrothal gift of 1,000,000 RMB, if the Lin family's financial situation was even worse than ours, would you have agreed to this marriage? I don't agree to your way of doing things because I'm not a money tree, and Lin Jej isn't an ATM. Hearing Shi Yao's long speech, Papa Shi's face reddened in anger. You unfilial daughter. He pointed at Shi Yao and stammered for a long time, but in the end he turned to Mother Shi and said, It's all because of your good daughter. It's no wonder why people say that a married daughter is like spilled water. You haven't even gotten married yet, but you're already siding with an outsider. Mother Shi, who had been scolded for no reason, also grew angry. Why are you so fierce to me? It's as if I'm the only one who gave birth to your daughter. I told you long ago that it's impossible for your daughter to change her mind, but you were the one who refused to give up. You shamelessly went to the Lin family again and again, and when you saw that you couldn't get through to the Lin family, you pretended to be sick and pitiful so that your daughter would look for Jej instead. What does it have to do with me now that your daughter has rejected you? Pretending to be sick? Hearing those words, Shi Yao didn't say a word. Instead, she lowered her eyes to conceal the darkness and disappointment in them. It has nothing to do with you. Soon I'll have nothing to do with you. If it's nothing to do with you, then it's nothing to do with me. It's precisely because my daughter was going to marry into the Lin family that I made do with you. Now, I don't want to spend another day with you anymore. But let's just stop here. We'll head to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow to settle the divorce procedures. Fine. Let me tell you, if you don't divorce me, you'll be my grandson. Her parents kept insisting on a divorce, and they argued to the point where they couldn't bear it anymore. Shi Yao listened to their argument for a while, but eventually she couldn't take it anymore, so she left the ward without saying a word. As if they didn't notice her leaving, they continued arguing, and their words became even more unpleasant to the ears. Walking out of the ward, Shi Yao closed the door behind her and walked to the elevator. She could still vaguely hear her parents scolding her. Perhaps they had disturbed the patients by the side, so a nurse had rushed over to stop them. Feigning ignorance, Shi Yao stepped into the elevator and headed to the first floor. After exiting the building, she casually found a chair in the hospital garden and sat down. Her mind went blank for a long time, and then she read one word from the bottom of her heart: disappointment. Yes, she was really disappointed. Seeing that they couldn't achieve their goal, they started to talk about divorce in front of her. What was she to them? A dispensable burden and superfluous product between them? But if they really divorced, what should they do? Shi Yao was really a little afraid that they would divorce. But deep down in her heart, she also knew that they might not be able to live together anymore. They would divorce and go their separate ways to live their own lives. Then she would lose her father and mother in one night. Now, even though she had someone she liked, he was no longer her fiancé. She had never seen him before. The more Shi Yao thought about it, the sadder she felt. With tears in her eyes, she stared at her phone for a moment before she found Lin Jie's number and dialed his number. Chapter 744. It didn't take long for the call to go through, and the beep from the other end jolted Shi Yao awake. She actually called Lin Jie earlier. She instinctively wanted to hang up the call, but the person on the other end had already picked up the call before she could. Yao. Even though they had met on his birthday a few days ago, when Shi Yao heard Lin Jie's voice once more, she couldn't help but feel as if a century had passed since then. She couldn't help but feel conflicted. Perhaps it was due to Shi Yao's silence, but Lin Jie spoke up once more. Yao? Only then did Shi Yao realize that Lin Jie's voice carried a hint of drowsiness. She subconsciously tightened her grip on her phone as she replied in embarrassment. That? You're already asleep? I'm sorry, I didn't know. I didn't mean to wake you up. I'm not asleep yet. I'm just preparing to sleep, Lin Jie replied swiftly. His reply left Shi Yao at a loss for words. She replied with an oak before falling silent. A few seconds later, she finally realized that he was preparing to sleep. Where was he going to sleep? With this thought in mind, Shi Yao blurted out, "Where are you going to sleep?" On the other end of the call, Lin Jie seemed to be taken aback by the question. It took a long while before he replied softly, "At my house. You're sleeping alone?" Of course he was sleeping alone. Was she supposed to be sleeping with him? Lin Jie subconsciously wanted to reply to Shi Yao's question, but just as the words were about to come out of his mouth, he suddenly recalled that he had waited for her at the Golden Resplendence for a very long time, but she didn't come in at all. Now that she was calling him and asking him these questions, was she here to check on him? Lin Jie stared at the ceiling, feeling as if he was in a dream. Shi Yao waited for a moment, but there was no response from Lin Jie's end. She grew increasingly nervous. Could he have brought Liang Xiao home? With this thought in mind, Shi Yao asked, "Lin Jie?" Lin Jie hurriedly replied before replying, "What else could it be? If I'm not alone, could it be that there are two of you? Who knows? Today At this point, Shi Yao hurriedly covered her mouth. She had almost exposed the fact that she had been following him. Other people were tricked into revealing their whereabouts, but she was always the one who confessed without being forced to do so. Even if she didn't say anything, Lin Jie could already guess what she was going to say next. Nevertheless, he still intentionally asked, "What's wrong today?" It's nothing. Shi Yao replied swiftly due to her guilty conscience. "I see." Lin Jie nodded in realization. "I thought that you met me today." Shi Yao felt even more guilty upon hearing those words. Her tone grew heavier as she tried to sound confident. No, no, how could that be possible? I'm at home right now. On the other end of the call, Lin Jie's lips couldn't help but curl up upon hearing her panicked voice. A moment later he hung up the call. Shi Yao stared at the screen of her phone as she blinked her eyes several times. Was it because the signal was bad and the call was cut, or it was inconvenient on his side and he hung up on her? Chapter 745. Shi Yao didn't take a closer look at the call. She swiftly picked up the call, and it was only when Lin Jie's handsome face appeared on the screen that she realized that Lin Jie had switched to a video call. Shi Yao opened her mouth to ask Lin Jie why he had switched to a video call, but Lin Jie's lips had already moved. I'm really alone at home. If you don't believe me, I'll show you. As he said those words, he swiveled the phone's camera in all directions. He showed Shi Yao room after room. He even showed her the washroom, changing room, closet, and even the toilet bowl. Toilet bowl? Shi Yao suddenly recalled how Zuan had been ignoring her ever since the first time they left Mountain Changming. When she went to deliver eggs to his house under her mother's request, his door was locked from the inside. Lin Jie had kicked down the door, and when she searched the entire house for him, she had searched through the toilet bowl as well. It seemed like they were really family. Recalling this incident, Shi Yao couldn't help but burst into laughter. Hearing her laughter, Lin Jie switched the phone's camera from the toilet bowl to his face. Yao Yao, I didn't lie to you, did I? I'm really alone at home. But before he could finish his words, he suddenly paused. 3 short seconds later, with a slight frown on his forehead, he asked once more. Yao Yao, why are you still outdoors at such a late hour? Before Shi Yao called Lin Jie, she had been feeling extremely downcast. Even though it hadn't been long since their conversation, she was no longer as depressed as before. However, upon hearing his question, she couldn't help but be reminded of her parents once more. She only said a single word, but she suddenly found herself at a loss for words. In the end, she simply looked at the phone screen and, as if nothing had happened at all, she continued. I'm just taking a walk outside. Lin Jie didn't say a word. Instead, he stared intently at her through the phone. For some reason, Shi Yao felt a little guilty under his gaze, and she subconsciously lowered her eyes. But even so, Lin Jie still noticed that something was amiss. Yao Yao, did something happen? Nothing. Shi Yao hurriedly shook her head. It would have been better if he hadn't asked that question, but the moment he did, she felt even worse. Her biological parents had been arguing so fiercely that they didn't even notice her sadness when she left. Yet a person who wasn't related to her by blood could easily sense the changes in her emotions through the phone. Tears welled up in Shi Yao's eyes, and she didn't dare to raise her head anymore. I'm really fine. Lin Jie didn't reply. Instead, he stared intently at her surroundings. Because it was too dark, there were many places that he couldn't see clearly, but he caught the word hospital behind her right ear. His whole body suddenly tensed up. Yao Yao, why are you in hospital? Are you not feeling well? Shi Yao's fingers subconsciously tightened around her phone. It's not me, it's my dad. Shi Yao paused for a moment before continuing. It's getting late, so you should rest early. I'll be hanging up now. Then, without raising her head, she pressed the button to hang up the call. She couldn't tell if she was disappointed or relieved, but she continued to sit quietly outside in the deep autumn night. She couldn't tell if she was disappointed or relieved. She continued to sit quietly outside in the late autumn. Chapter 746. She had no idea how much time had passed when she vaguely heard hurried footsteps behind her. Shi Yao instinctively turned her head over, and she saw Lin Jie hurriedly walking toward her under the moonlight. It was only when Lin Jie stopped right in front of her that Shi Yao blinked her eyes. She stared at him blankly for a very long time before she stood up in disbelief. You? Shi Yao only managed to utter a single word before Lin Jie, who had been looking for her for some time, interjected. Why are you still outside at such a late hour? As he spoke, he took off his coat and draped it over Shi Yao's shoulders. The temperature is so low at night. You'll catch a cold. Shi Yao's words were stuck in her throat and she was unable to say anything else. Following that, she couldn't help but feel indescribably touched. He didn't call again after I hung up on him. Did he find out where she was and rushed over to look for her personally? But this is the suburbs. It's only been half an hour since their call ended, so he's been speeding the entire time? After buttoning up Shi Yao's coat one by one, Lin Jiege looked into Shi Yao's eyes and asked, "Right, you said on the phone earlier that your father is hospitalized? Is his condition serious? How is he now? Do you need me to arrange for a better hospital in the city to transfer him to?" Hearing Lin Jiege's questions, Shi Yao felt her throat getting even more stifled and her eyes stung even more. She opened her mouth but no words came out. Seeing her reaction, Lin Jiege thought that she was worried about her father, so he shot a glance at the hospital building and said, "Forget it, I'll go take a look myself. If it's serious, I can arrange for your father to be transferred to another hospital tonight." Without any hesitation, Shi Yao tugged on Lin Jiege's sleeves in an attempt to stop him from heading to the hospital building to see her father. Lin Jiege didn't get Shi Yao's intention, so he turned to look at her and said, "You don't have to worry too much. Do you remember the doctor who treated my grandfather back then? He has 4 doctorates in the medical world, so as long as it's not a problem that's too difficult to deal with, he should be able to solve it." "No, I'm not worried about my father." Lin Jiege turned around and replied with a perplexed "Hmm." Shi Yao didn't know how she should explain it to Lin Jiege. She stared at Lin Jiege's eyes for a moment before saying, "Don't go up." "What's wrong?" Lin Jiege asked with a slight frown. "In any case, you just don't want to go up." Shi Yao also felt that she was being unreasonable, but she really couldn't think of anything else to say at this point. Lin Jiege stared at Shi Yao for a moment longer as he recalled the words Ling Wan had said to him on the phone back then. Could it be that she had some kind of disagreement with her parents because he broke off the engagement with her? But even though he was perplexed, he didn't pursue the matter any further. "All right then, I won't go up. However, why don't you follow me back to the car? It's really too cold here. If I stay any longer, I'll really get sick." This time, Shi Yao didn't turn down his offer. Instead, she nodded her head lightly. Chapter 747. After returning to the car, Lin Jiege first started the engine and switched on the heater before heading to the trunk to take out 2 bottles of water. He unscrewed the cap of one of the bottles, twisted it shut and passed it over to Shi Yao. "Thank you," Shi Yao replied before taking the water from Zhang Xian. After sitting in the car for a while, Lin Jiege pondered over his words for a moment before asking, "Did something unpleasant happen?" Shi Yao didn't say a word. However, through her eyes, Lin Jiege could tell that she seemed to have suffered some grievance. While his heart ached for her, he didn't force her to ask about the situation. In an instant the car fell silent. Lin Jiege had no idea how long he had been sitting quietly in the car with Shi Yao, but he couldn't bear to see her remain silent for too long. So he fell into deep thought. Eventually he recalled what she liked to eat, so he broke the silence in the car and said, "Do you want to grab some supper?" Shi Yao still didn't say a word. Lin Jiege didn't mind at all. "I know a place that sells kebabs until 2 in the morning. It's really delicious." Shi Yao remained silent. Lin Jiege patiently continued, "You don't like kebabs? How about some crayfish? Malatang? Beef noodle? It doesn't seem that late yet. It's only been a few hours since we had dinner. Are you still not that hungry?" "I guess so. Let's wait for a while then. Tell me when you're hungry and I'll bring you there." Listening to Lin Jiege's monologue for so long, Shi Yao suddenly felt tears flowing down her cheeks. He was trying to coax her, but why did he end up making her cry instead? Lin Jiege immediately panicked. "Why are you crying all of a sudden? Did I say something wrong earlier?" "I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. I was wrong." As he apologized profusely, Shi Yao's tears flowed even more furiously. She hadn't cried even as she watched her parents quarrel in her room, but listening to his words at this moment, she couldn't control her emotions anymore. "Oh, it's all right now. Stop crying." Lin Jiege had never coaxed a girl before, and his sharp tongue made him incredibly clumsy at this moment. No matter how he tried, all he could say were the same words. Seeing that she was crying more and more fiercely, he quickly grabbed a tissue to wipe away her tears. It was fortunate that Shi Yao didn't cry for too long. It didn't take long for her tears to stop flowing. As if he had just escaped death, Lin Jiege heaved a sigh of relief. Noticing Zhang Xian's reaction, Shi Yao's eyes welled up once more, but this time she didn't cry. due to the previous incident where he had tried to coax her, only to end up making her cry instead. Lin Jiege didn't dare to open his mouth easily anymore. It was unusually quiet in the car. All the way until the latter half of the night, Shi Yao sneaked a peek at Lin Jiege, and seeing that he was still looking at her with a nervous expression, her heart suddenly softened. She pursed her lips slightly. After a while she finally took the initiative to say, "My dad and mom, they're getting a divorce." Lin Jiege was initially overjoyed that she was finally willing to speak up, but after hearing the contents of her words his heart suddenly ached. It was no wonder why she looked so unhappy tonight. So that was the reason. Actually, I already knew that they were at odds with each other. If Grandpa Lin hadn't come knocking on my door and told me about our engagement, they might have already gotten a divorce by then. Chapter 748. I know that everyone has the right to choose how they want to live, and I know that I shouldn't impose my thoughts on them. For my own sake, I didn't want them to get a divorce, but I really don't want them to get a divorce either. I feel that as long as Dad and Mom are together, I still have a home. If they're not together, I'll have no home at all. If I had listened to them and looked for you and coaxed you, they might not have ended up like this. But I don't want them to. You don't know, but when they look for me, they never ask me how I'm doing in school. As soon as they open their mouths, they'll talk about you. I feel that the reason they've treated me so well all these years is because of your family. If not for your family, would they have abandoned me a long time ago? Perhaps it was because it was a little difficult for her to talk about her family's situation. She stuttered as she spoke. From the start to the end, Lin Jiege didn't interrupt her at all. He simply sat quietly by the side and listened attentively. Initially, her parents treated her very well, and she thought that she had a blissful family even though they weren't that wealthy. But later on, when she learned of their true thoughts, she couldn't accept it and felt terrible. Later on, she even said that she didn't want to be a money tree. She didn't think that she was important to her parents at all. In order for her to marry well, her father even went as far as to feign illness. In truth, he had already learned a lot about these things from Ling Yuan. But now that she was telling him about it, it was as if he was listening to a business proposal. He listened to every single word she said in great detail. She spoke a lot, and it was likely that she had vented out all of the discomfort she had been suppressing in her heart. In the end, her tone had clearly become much more relaxed, and the aggrieved look on her face had dissipated by more than half. It's been so many years since they've separated. I should be happy, shouldn't I? No matter what, I'm the only one who's left now that I've grown up. At the very least, it's better than when I was young. I should really be happy, shouldn't I? As she spoke, she turned to Lin Jiege and squeezed out a smile. She was probably tired from talking too much, so she didn't say anything else after asking that question. However, her final words struck a chord in Lin Jiege's heart. For a moment, Lin Jiege didn't know how he should respond to her words. He looked at her little face that was forcing a smile, and his throat felt like it was being choked by something. It was very painful. A moment later, Lin Jiege forcefully suppressed the soreness in his heart and moved his lips. That can't be. How could you be the only one left? Even if you were the only one left, I would still accompany you. I will also accompany you. Hearing those simple words, Shi Yao's eyes reddened once more. Why are you crying again? Chapter 749. Sure. If you don't mind, I can even help you look for a house. Really? Shi Yao asked hesitantly. Of course. Not only can I help you look for a house, I can even help you decorate your home. I can accompany you to pick out any furniture you want, and I can even help you clean up the place. A hint of a smile surfaced in Lin Jiege's eyes. Don't tell me that I'm the one who said that I'm going to help you. As long as you ask for my help, I'll agree to anything you want me to do. Shi Yao felt that Lin Jiege's words sounded too much like a fairy tale, and she found it hard to believe. She stared at Lin Jiege for a moment before asking softly, "Anything I want? As long as it's within my means, I'll do anything," Lin Jiege said solemnly as if making a vow. Then, Shi Yao gulped down a mouthful of saliva. You said earlier that you'll bring me to eat skewers, crayfish mala soup and denim rice noodles. Does that still count? If it had been any other woman, she would surely have made use of this opportunity to make a high demand, but she? Soft bun was indeed soft bun. Lin Jiage burst into laughter. Of course it does. Which do you want to eat? I'll bring you there right now. I want to eat all of them. Shi Yao was a little embarrassed, but she was also a little afraid that her suggestion would be too unreasonable. Her fingers uneasily clasped the seatbelt of the car before she muttered softly, "Why don't I just eat 3 dishes?" As she said those words, Shi Yao turned to look at Lin Jiage with uneasiness in her eyes as she compromised. 2? Let's have denim rice noodles then." At the end of her words, Shi Yao lowered her head pitifully, and her grip on her seatbelt tightened. Looking at Shi Yao's adorable appearance, a gentle smile surfaced on Lin Jiage's face. Without any hesitation he said, "It's fine, we'll eat all of them." After which he started the car. After driving for a distance, Shi Yao still felt a little uneasy. She couldn't help but ask, "Lin Jiage, don't you think that my request was a little too much? You can go even further. For example, think of 4 more that you want to eat, or even 40. As long as you can eat it, it's fine. Provided that you don't waste food." Hearing Lin Jiage's words, Shi Yao replied with a haw before a smile crept up her face. Seeing her smile, Lin Jiage stared straight ahead at the road ahead and smiled as well. The car sped forward for a while before a thought suddenly struck Lin Jiage and he said, "I like it when you're so overboard. Because of this, I feel that you have a place in my heart." His voice was so soft that Shi Yao didn't notice his words at all. The car remained silent as it continued driving forward. It didn't take long for them to enter the city, and it didn't take long before they arrived at the restaurant where Shi Yao wanted to eat denim rice noodles. Lin Jiage really accompanied Shi Yao as they went from denim noodles to crayfish, and then from crayfish to mala soup. As the skewer shop he had mentioned closed at 2 in the morning, Lin Jiage brought Shi Yao to another skewer shop that was still open at night. By the time he finished all the food, the sky was already bright. Chapter 750. Shi Yao hesitated for a moment before voicing out her concerns. "But it's still early and the dormitory isn't open yet. Besides, there's a good chance that someone might see me staying out last night. It's not too far from my place. Do you want to sleep over there?" Shi Yao pondered for a moment before nodding her head. Seeing that she had agreed to it, Lin Jiage stepped on the accelerator and drove all the way to the underground parking lot of his apartment building. After returning home, Lin Jiage passed Shi Yao a pair of slippers before heading to the storage room. After Shi Yao was done changing her slippers, Lin Jiage passed her a brand new toothpaste, toothbrush and cup. "You can sleep in the same bedroom as before. The shower gel and other stuff you used in the past are still there, but there's no need to change the bedsheets. Auntie just washed them yesterday and the mites were removed. The towel and towel are still here too." At this point Lin Jiage seemed to have thought of something and he quickly told Shi Yao, "Wait a moment for me," before heading back to his bedroom. A moment later he returned with a white t-shirt and said, "You can use this as your pajamas." Shi Yao nodded her head in acknowledgement before carrying the things Lin Jiage had given her and headed to the bedroom she was going to sleep in. But barely after she took a few steps, Lin Jiage suddenly called out to her, "Right, Yao Yao." Shi Yao turned around and asked, "What's wrong?" Lin Jiage raised his wrist to take a look at the time. "I have a meeting at 9:30 am, so I'll probably be heading out between 8:30 am and 9 am. Just go ahead and sleep, but there might be no one at home when you wake up, so you can do whatever you want." Shi Yao replied with an ogue to indicate that she understood. After which she asked, "Is there anything else?" Lin Jiage fell silent for a moment before shaking his head. Shi Yao pushed open the door and entered the bedroom. As soon as Shi Yao stepped out of the shower, she immediately fell asleep on the bed. She had no idea how long she had slept for, but she could vaguely hear the sound of a door closing. She continued lying on the bed for a while longer before recalling that Lin Jiage had said that he would be heading out at around 9 am. Without any hesitation, she quickly pulled off her blanket and ran out of the room in her slippers. Lin Jiage, who had spent the entire night accompanying her, had only slept for 4 hours. At this moment he was already dressed and standing in the dining room, brewing a cup of coffee. Upon seeing Shi Yao, Lin Jiage asked in bewilderment, "Why aren't you sleeping?" Shi Yao glanced at the water dispenser by the side and came up with a random excuse. "I'm thirsty." Without saying a word, Lin Jiage put down his coffee cup, picked up a cup of warm water and passed it over to Shi Yao. Lin Jiage picked up the cup of coffee and drank half of it to refresh himself before putting it down. I'll be heading out now. You should head back and rest for a while after you're done drinking, Shi Yao replied with an as she sipped from her cup of water. Lin Jiage didn't stay any longer. He grabbed his laptop and documents, and just as he was about to leave, the phone in his pocket suddenly rang. Hearing the commotion, Shi Yao turned to look at him. Upon seeing the caller ID, Lin Jiage's footsteps abruptly halted. Without any hesitation, he pressed on the button to accept the call. Liang Xiao, Liang Xiao. Upon hearing those two words, Shi Yao subconsciously pricked up her ears. She even stopped drinking her water and focused her attention on eavesdropping on Lin Jiage's call. Chapter 751. Liang Xiao. Upon hearing those two words, Shi Yao subconsciously pricked up her ears. She even stopped drinking her water and focused all her attention on Lin Jiage's phone call. Lin Jiage's back was facing her, making it impossible for him to see her at all. But in truth, he was discreetly assessing her through a mirror not too far away. When he noticed the tense look on Liang Xiao's face after he spoke those words, his lips couldn't help but curl up into a smile. After hearing Liang Xiao's words, he intentionally conveyed the meaning behind her words to the young lady behind him. Do I have time tonight? Lin Jiage's attention had been focused on Shi Yao the entire time, so when he saw her turn to look at him through the mirror, he calmly replied to Liang Xiao's question. I think so. What's wrong? As he said those words, Lin Jiage noticed a slight frown on Shi Yao's forehead, seemingly dissatisfied with his answer. But he was very satisfied with her reaction. In order not to expose himself, he forcefully pressed down on the curve of his lips. Just like before, he deliberately repeated Liang Xiao's words before replying to her. Eat? Her. Shi Yao's hand trembled, causing a large portion of the water in her cup to spill out. Hearing the commotion, Lin Jiage feigned ignorance as he turned his head over to look at Shi Yao. Meeting his questioning gaze, Shi Yao feigned a composed expression as she waved her hands casually. Then, as if she had accidentally placed the cup on the table, she took out 2 napkins and calmly wiped away the water on her wrists. Seeing as Shi Yao was completely fine, Lin Jiage pretended not to see anything and continued speaking into his phone. What time is it tonight? 6:30? Sure, no problem. Alright, who's there? Lin Jiage intentionally paused for a moment before replying, just me and you? To Liang Xiao, who had been silent all this while, Lin Jiage's words were strung together as a single sentence. Who's there for dinner? Is it just me and you? But to Shi Yao, it was as if Liang Xiao had replied to her words, telling her that it was just the two of them, and he was merely repeating her words. As expected, barely after Lin Jiage said those words, a loud pog sounded behind him. He turned around and saw Shi Yao knocking the tissue box to the ground. On the other end of the line, Liang Xiao, who was talking about who was having dinner tonight, heard the sound and asked, What's wrong? Lin Jiage replied nonchalantly, It's nothing much, I just accidentally knocked something over. If there's nothing else, I'll be hanging up now. After Liang Xiao hung up the call, Lin Jiage shot a glance at Shi Yao, who was squatting on the floor picking up the tissue boxes. Speaking into the busy tone in his earpiece, he said, All right, I'll see you there tonight. There was another paw sound. The tissue box that Shi Yao had just picked up fell heavily to the ground once more. The tissue box was made of a special material. It was neither plastic nor porcelain, so it was quite resistant to knocks. However, after falling to the ground twice in a row, it broke into pieces. Chapter 752. It's fine. After replying, Lin Jiage realized that there was nothing else he could say other than it. After all, even if she did it on purpose, he wouldn't dare to do anything to her. If she wanted to fall, he could only let her fall. If she didn't like it, he would have to get down from the horse and fall with her until she was happy. Otherwise, what else could he do? With this thought in mind, Lin Jiage said, Don't bother with these things. The cleaning auntie will be here soon. She'll clean up the mess. As he spoke, Lin Jiage raised his wrist to take a look at the time. It's already 9 o'clock. I have to head out now. You should head back to your room and get some sleep. Seeing that Lin Jie was about to leave, Shi Yao subconsciously called out, Lin Jie. Lin Jie turned to look at Shi Yao and asked, "What's wrong?" Shi Yao pursed her lips and asked, "Do you have a dinner date with someone?" Lin Jie enjoyed Shi Yao's question very much. He was overjoyed inside, but on the surface he maintained a calm demeanor and replied, I have a dinner date with a friend I haven't seen for many years." "Oh," Shi Yao replied with a muffled voice. Lin Jie knew that she had many questions she wanted to ask him, but there wasn't much time left, and it wasn't a bad idea to make her anxious like this. Thus, before Shi Yao could speak, he spoke up. Yao, if there's anything you want to say, can we talk about it later? I really don't have much time on my end. I have to go now." As he spoke, Lin Jie raised his hand and stroked Shi Yao's head. "You don't just stand here. Hurry up and head back to your room to catch up on your sleep. I'll be leaving now." Without giving Shi Yao a chance to speak, Lin Jie finished his words in a single breath. After which, he walked to the entrance, changed into his shoes, and waved his hand at Shi Yao, who was staring at him with a look of hesitation. After which, he pushed open the door and left without a backward glance. Shi Yao stood alone in the empty living room for a very long time before she dragged her slightly heavy footsteps back to her room absent-mindedly. Lying on her bed and closing her eyes, her mind was filled with the conversation between Lin Jie and Liang Xiao. She tossed and turned for a very long time, but no matter how hard she tried, she just couldn't fall asleep. He had a dinner date with Liang Xiao, and just like last night, it was still just the two of them. He even told her that he wouldn't leave until he left for work. Why didn't he tell her that he wouldn't leave until he left? With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao flipped her body over and hugged her blanket tightly. She kicked her legs angrily as she cursed Lin Jie in her heart. After which, she stared out the window and began to daydream once more. While Shi Yao's thoughts were running wild, her phone suddenly rang. She glanced at the caller ID and answered the call. Wan, Yao, why aren't you back at school yet? Did you forget that it's Tiantian's birthday today? We've agreed to celebrate her birthday at noon, right? Leng Wan's reminder reminded Shi Yao that it was really Tiantian's birthday today. She took a look at the time and it was already noon. She immediately stood up and said, "If you didn't tell me, I would have forgotten about it. You three should head to the dining room first. I'll be leaving right now. Let's meet at the dining room later." Chapter 753. Tiantian's birthday was already half a month ago, and the dormitory had already decided on what to eat. However, due to Shi Yao's late departure, Leng Wan, Jiang Yu and Tian were already waiting for her by the time she arrived. After taking a seat, Shi Yao took the menu from Leng Wan and ordered 2 more dishes. After the waiter left, Jiang Yu and Tian stared at Shi Yao with malicious gazes, asking her where she went last night. Faced with Jiang Yu and Tian's relentless questioning, Shi Yao remained silent. However, before Jiang Yu and Tian could bring out their trump card and threaten Shi Yao with snacks, their attention was drawn away by a conversation at the table beside them. The first to speak up was the male student sitting behind Tian. "Do you know? I have a buddy who confessed to his wife on their wedding anniversary. He spent a huge sum of money to confess to his wife on the big screen of the most prosperous office building in the city. That's 100,000 renminbi per hour, and he spent a total of 5 hours on the big screen." The next to speak was another man sitting at the same table. "That's nothing. I have a friend who flew 9,999 roses over to his girlfriend's birthday. That's hundreds of thousands of RMB, and it's his girlfriend, not his wife." Hearing those words, Tian and Jiang Yu couldn't help but huddle together and whisper among themselves. Jiang Yu, say, do you think they're telling the truth or just making things up? Is there really such a generous man in the world? Tian, I'm perplexed as well. Let me tell you, I often see women showing off their diamonds and bags when I browse through Little Red Book. The phrase they often use is "my husband gave it to me, my boyfriend gave it to me." Say, where in the world did they get their husbands and boyfriends from? Tell me so that I can get one too. Jiang Yu, +1. I also want to get a rich boyfriend or husband like that. Seeing that Shi Yao and Leng Wan weren't cooperating with her at all, Tian suddenly remembered that Shi Yao already had Lin Jie, so she turned to Leng Wan and asked, Wan, don't you want to get a rich boyfriend like that? Leng Wan took a sip of fruit juice before replying coldly, I don't want to. I can become a tycoon myself. While Shi Yao's table was discussing where a nouveau riche's boyfriend or husband could get a reward, another table was also discussing how their brothers were showing off their love. All of you shut up and listen to me. That's really low. I have a buddy who's really awesome. I sell antiques and some of them are really expensive. Then my buddy called me one day and said that he had an inkstone he wanted to sell at my place. That inkstone is from the Qing dynasty and it's real. It's very expensive, at least 200,000 yuan in the market. If it's auctioned, it'll probably go even higher. If someone wants to collect it, they'll probably be willing to spend millions. Then he told me that the next day, a girl would come to my shop to choose an inkstone, and he told me to sell her the 200,000 yuan inkstone for 200 yuan. Hearing those words, Shi Yao, Leng Wan, Jiang Yu and He Tian stared at one another for a long while before they started whispering to one another. Why does this story sound so familiar? That's right. Didn't Yao Yao buy an inkstone before? Chapter 754. You don't say. That boy looks really familiar. Lin Sanji said. Let me see. Oh. He really seems to be the shop owner that Yao Yao bought the inkstone from. Amidst the commotion, Shi Yao also turned her gaze toward the chattering male student. Of course, you'll surely say that 200,000 renminbi is much less than the money spent by those nouveau riche friends of yours. But let me tell you, you're wrong. What I'm trying to say isn't money but that bro of mine. From the start to the end, he didn't let that girl know who he is. Let me ask you this, are you convinced? Tell me, out of all the people you know, who can do such a thing for a girl silently, spend so much money and not let her know? Furthermore, that girl isn't his girlfriend or his wife, but the girl he admires. Let me ask you this, are you convinced? Are you convinced? The other male students at the table also spoke up. Yes. Is there a hole in that guy's head? Isn't he being a sucker? Doing good deeds without leaving his name, is he trying to imitate a pervert? How in the world can he woo a girl like that? Let me tell you, since ancient times, infatuation has always been the only way to win a person's heart. So, no matter what you do, you have to let the other party know. Even if you don't know, you have to find a way to find out so that you can woo your wife, alright? The male student who told the story of the inkstone gulped down a huge mouthful of wine before continuing. I asked my friend the same question and he replied with one sentence. What did he say? Money can't buy my willingness. The heck, that's a foolish son of a rich family. He has too much money to spend, so he's just flaunting it. Hey, you're right. That friend of mine really has too much money to spend. Let me tell you, he's a top student of G University, and his family background is already impressive. Yet he's unwilling to just be a second-generation nouveau riche and insists on being a first-generation nouveau riche. Even before graduating from university, he managed to earn hundreds of millions of RMB through his projects. He just registered a company this year and it seems like it's doing pretty well. At this point, He Tian couldn't help but pull Shi Yao's hand and say, Yao Yao, he's talking about Senior Lin. Senior Lin. Jiang Yu, that's right, it's Senior Lin from G University. He's from a rich family. He doesn't want to be a second-generation rich, but he wants to be a first-generation rich. He's starting a company this year and everything matches up with Senior Lin. Compared to Jiang Yu and He Tian's words, Leng Wan's concern was much more direct. Yao Yao, didn't you say that the person who recommended you to buy the inkstone was an online friend you met in the game? So, that netizen is actually Senior Lin? As Leng Wan's words reached Shi Yao's ears, the chopsticks in her hand suddenly fell onto the table with a kachik. Mr. Numbers had recommended her to buy an inkstone, and he had even told her that the other party was a friend of his, and on his account the other party would give her a discount. Later on, during Grandpa Lin's birthday banquet, the inkstone that she had stolen for 200 yuan turned out to be an authentic one that was worth 200,000 yuan. At that time, she really didn't think that there was anything wrong with it. She just thought that she had been lucky. But now that she thought about it, there really were a lot of loopholes that day. Chapter 755. Another example was how Lin Jierig had instructed Liang Mumu to hold on to her inkstone before inviting an expert over to appraise it. Another example would be how confident Lin Jie had been the entire time that night. Back then she was still cursing him for setting her up, but thinking about it now, the reason why he had such a reaction was because everything had been within his grasp. He wasn't setting her up. He had already dug a trap for Liang Mumu from the very start, and he was just waiting for her to jump into it. From the start to the end he had been helping and protecting her. He had allowed her to calmly overcome Liang Mumu's trap without having to do anything at all. Also, when she saw the kingdom of snacks on Mountain Changming, she was still perplexed as to how Lin Jie knew that her dream was to own such a house. Now that she thought about it, he had already given himself away back then. She was too careless and didn't pursue the matter further. She had only told Mr. Numbers about her dream, so it was just as Ling Wan had said. Mr. Numbers equals Lin Jie and Lin Jie equals Mr. Numbers? Shi Yao couldn't shake the feeling that this was all a dream. She secretly pinched her thigh, and when she felt the pain she picked up her phone and hurriedly looked for Lin Jie to send her a WeChat message. Sis Jie? Do you have Lin Jie's WeChat? Perhaps Lin Jie was busy. She replied to Shi Yao's message very straightforwardly, sharing her name card. And that name card was one that Shi Yao couldn't be more familiar with. Less than 111,111, Mr. Numbers, who had played games with her for the past 8 months. Mr. Numbers is actually Lin Jie. Lin Jie is actually Mr. Numbers. Shi Yao's mind was in a daze for a very long time. Then it suddenly occurred to her that Mr. Numbers had been bringing her to compete in tournaments to earn money. In other words, Lin Jie had been bringing her to compete in tournaments to earn money. Why would Lin Jie suddenly bring her to compete in tournaments to earn money? In her mind she went through everything that had happened recently from start to finish. After which she turned to look at Ling Wan and asked, Wan, did you tell him about me? Jiang Yu, what matter? Hidanun, there's actually a secret between the two of you? I'm not happy. Ignoring Jiang Yu and He Tian, Ling Wan nodded toward Shi Yao and said, that's right Yao Yao. However Yao, I didn't mean to betray you. You should know my personality very well. I've never meddled in other people's affairs. However, the reason why I told him that time was because I wanted to help you. It was because I wanted to help you. But no matter what Yao Yao, I still owe you an apology. Ling Wan was right. She knew very well what kind of person she was, and she also knew that Ling Wan was doing this for her own good. In truth, she wasn't blaming her for asking this question. Rather, she was trying to figure out one thing. Was it really as she thought? After learning about her parents' situation, Lin Jie knew that she was concerned about the debt of 1 million RMB, so he decided to help her silently. He had always been unwilling to agree to break off the engagement, but that day when they went to Mount Chongming he agreed. It was also after he found out about this matter that he agreed. He understood her difficulties, so he let go. During this period of time he had very little interaction with her. She thought that he had already left her world. Only now did she realize that he had never left her. He had always been by her side, silently accompanying her at all times. Chapter 756. An indescribable feeling of gratitude mixed with intense throbbing filled Shi Yao's heart in an instant. She thought that in this world nothing could be more contented than this. There was a person who, from the moment he set his eyes on you, no matter if you stayed by his side or left him, as long as you turned around he would always be there, never leaving. It didn't take long for the dishes to be served by the waiter. Starving from the long ruckus, Jiang Yu quickly beckoned for everyone to dig in. With the delicacies before them, everyone quickly changed the topic. While enjoying their meal they didn't forget to wish He Tian an eternal 18 years old. Shi Yao was also eating, and from time to time she would chat with the others as well. However, her thoughts would also drift toward Lin Jie from time to time. After lunch, since they didn't have any classes in the afternoon, the 4 girls from the dormitory room headed to a nearby shopping mall. This was something that they had agreed on half a month ago when they were discussing how they should celebrate He Tian's birthday with her. However, throughout the entire shopping trip, Shi Yao had been in a state of absent-mindedness. She would either stop in her tracks as she walked, or someone would call out to her to try on clothes and ask her if they looked good on her. She wouldn't respond no matter how many times they called out to her. Sometimes someone would find something nice for her to try on and she would take it into the changing room, only to be called out again and again. She was still wearing her original clothes, and the clothes that she had been asked to try on were still in her hands, untouched. Such situations happened too often that even Jiang Yu, who was the slowest among them, noticed that something was amiss with Shi Yao. "Yeah, what's wrong with you? To be more precise, you've been acting a little weird lately. It's as if you've lost your soul." He Tian leaned over and said, "That's right, yeah. Tell me honestly, who stole your soul?" Having her thoughts exposed, Shi Yao's face reddened. "No, I didn't. Don't spout nonsense." Less than 3 seconds later, Shi Yao took the initiative to speak up once more. "Say, what do you think you would do if your souls were taken away by someone else?" He Tian had always been a quick-witted person. "What else can I do? I'll steal the soul of whoever steals my soul away. This is called exchanging a soul for a soul." Jiang Yu said, "You're making it sound so scary. Do you think you're acting in a supernatural story?" Hearing Jiang Yu's words, Shi Yao began to ponder over He Tian's words. "Whoever steals my soul away, I'll steal their soul away." That's right. Because of Lin Jie, she had been out of sorts recently, and he, the long-lost old friend of hers, had a meal together last night, and he was going to be there alone tonight. She couldn't allow him to continue like this. Not to mention, this old girl was different from the girls around him. She was the only girl that he had ever taught math problems to in middle school. Besides, Leng Wan had said last night that it took a veil for a woman to pursue a man. It had only been 2 days since Liang Xiao had returned, but he had already asked Lin Jie out for dinner 2 days in a row. This was a blatant attempt at seduction. If it was really as Leng Wan had said and Liang Xiao had really done something to her, resulting in a soft and fair carrot appearing, she would really be done for. Chapter 757. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao couldn't help but blurt out the words in her heart. "That's right. No matter what, I can't lose him." He Tiantung, "What? Lose what? Who did you lose?" However, Shi Yao didn't pay him any heed. She continued thinking about her own matters. Leng Nuan also said that sometimes, the fates between two people could be broken just like that. Take a movie she had watched last year, for example. The male and female lead quarreled over a small matter, and in a fit of pique the female lead moved out of the male lead's house. The male lead thought that the female lead would come back on her own, and the female lead thought that the male lead would try to persuade her to stay. Just like that, one of them didn't try to persuade her to stay and the other didn't come back. No matter what, she couldn't allow herself and Lin Jie to end up in such a state. It was too much of a pity for her to miss him. Besides, one had to fight for one's own happiness. Lin Jie had confessed to her so many times, so it was only right for her to take the initiative to ask him to stay once. If there were 100 steps between them and he had already taken 99 of them, why couldn't she take the final step? "That's right, I can definitely take the final step." Shi Yao blurted out once more. "Jiang Yu, it's over, it's over. Yao Yao has been spouting nonsense all this time. It can't be that she's become a fool after her soul was snatched away, right?" Shi Yao glared at Jiang Yu angrily as she replied in her mind, "You're the fool." However, she didn't pay any heed to Jiang Yu's words. Instead, she hurriedly said, "The three of you can enjoy your shopping. I'm leaving now." "Jiang Yu, Yao Yao, why are you leaving again?" He Tian, "That's right. You were like this last night and you're doing it again now. Stop right there. Don't run away." Ignoring Jiang Yu and He Tian's displeasure, Shi Yao continued running toward the elevator. However, not too long after, she suddenly thought of something and stopped. "Am I going to look for Lin Jie like this?" Shi Yao slowly turned around to face a mirror in the display window. She was dressed in a simple sweater, jeans and sneakers, and her hair was casually tied behind her head. Compared to the meticulously dressed Liang Xiao she had seen last night, she was a world of difference. That Liang Xiao was pretty, but she had dressed up before. Facing the mirror, Shi Yao stood on her tiptoes, pretending that she was wearing high heels. Then she recalled that she wasn't that much shorter than Liang Xiao. So if she were to dress up, she might not be worse than Liang Xiao. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao turned around and ran back to Leng Nuan, He Tian, and Jiang Yu. Jiang Yu's eyes widened. "No way, Tian. You told her to stop running and she really came back? When did she become so obedient to you?" Shi Yao chuckled coldly at Jiang Yu before getting straight to the point. Well, why don't you accompany me to buy some clothes? After that, we'll go to the spa and get my hair done. He Tian reached out to touch Shi Yao's forehead and asked, You don't have a fever, so why are you suddenly acting like this? Shi Yao, don't worry about it. In any case, you're just accompanying me. Jiang Yu asked, What style are you going to dress yourself in? Is it an older sister style or a lowly style? Chapter 758. Just like that, the four girls began shopping around the most high-end international boutiques on the first floor. It was already close to the end of autumn and it was already the start of winter. Nevertheless, for the sake of her beauty, Shi Yao still chose a dress that revealed her fair and slender legs. She wore a pair of heels of the same color and put on a white fur coat. Standing in front of the mirror, Shi Yao examined herself and she couldn't help but feel a little dazzled. After shopping for the clothes, Shi Yao didn't forget to choose a bag that complemented her outfit. After they were done shopping, the four young ladies headed to the spa on the upper floor. Shi Yao went through a full set of deep facial treatments before heading to a beauty salon on the same floor. She first had her hair nourished before having the stylist come up with a beautiful hairstyle. Finally, she arranged for a beautician to apply an exquisite makeup on Shi Yao. After everything was done, Shi Yao looked at herself in the mirror for a long time. She couldn't help but feel a little lacking in confidence, so she couldn't help but ask the makeup artist, Do you think I look good now? Miss, you're already very beautiful without makeup. With your current appearance, you can even participate in a beauty pageant. The stylist was a gentle young lady and her voice was very gentle. Hearing the makeup artist's half-joking words, Shi Yao's heart finally calmed down a little. She thanked the makeup artist before walking out of the dressing room. Leng Nuan, Jiang Yu and He Tian, who were waiting outside, immediately stood up in delight upon seeing Shi Yao. Whoa Yao, you look really beautiful now. Indeed. You're already beautiful normally, but with this makeup you don't pale in comparison to those celebrities on the big screen at all, alright? What do you mean by not pale in comparison to them? It means that you're better than them. Now stand there and don't move. Let me take a picture. Even without any makeup, this picture already looks like a blockbuster. Faced with her roommate's praises, Shi Yao couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. She lowered her head and looked at her outfit for a moment before asking, Are you sure that it's fine for me to look like this? Jiang Yu, it's fine. Anyone who says that there's a problem is blind. He Tian, Yao, if this is considered a problem, then there's no one in the world who doesn't have a problem. Even with Jiang Yu and He Tian's affirmation, Shi Yao still turned to look at Leng Nuan. Meeting her gaze, the usually unsmiling Leng Nuan's lips curled up into a smile. 100 points. Hearing this answer, Shi Yao burst into laughter. She took out her phone to take a look and before she knew it, it was already 5:30. Too engrossed in his smugness, he had forgotten to check the time. Lin Jierge and Liang Shao were supposed to meet at 6:30 p.m. It couldn't be that he had already set off to meet Liang Shao, could he? *T. Shi Yao cursed inwardly as she quickly took out her phone and dialed Lin Jierge's number. Perhaps Lin Jierge's phone wasn't with him, or perhaps it was on silent mode. Shi Yao dialed the number but no one picked up. It wasn't until she dialed the number for the third time that someone finally answered. Before Lin Jierge could speak, Shi Yao had already interjected, Lin Jierge, where are you at the moment? Chapter 759. In truth, it didn't take long. It was just a few short seconds, but the anxious Shi Yao felt as if she had waited for a very long time. She couldn't help but ask anxiously, Lin Jierge, I'm asking you a question. Where are you right now? I'm in the middle of a meeting. Lin Jierge replied in bewilderment. Noticing the anxiety in Shi Yao's voice, he thought that something had happened to her, so he asked anxiously, What's wrong? Did something happen? Where are you holding it? It can't be a one-on-one meeting with Liang Shao, right? Shi Yao subconsciously tightened her grip on her phone. Ignoring the latter half of Lin Jierge's question, she asked another question. Where are you holding the meeting? Where else can it be? It's at the office. Lin Jierge's tone carried a hint of what kind of question is that? Shi Yao replied with an "oh" as she heaved a sigh of relief. So Lin Jiege hadn't set off to meet Liang Xiao yet. It seemed like she could still make it in time to intercept him. With such a thought in mind, Shi Yao asked again, "How much longer until your meeting ends?" "If it's quick, it'll take at least half an hour." After replying to Shi Yao's question, Lin Jiege asked, "Yao Yao, what's wrong?" "Half an hour." If she were to take the subway to his office, it would only take around 10 minutes or so. That should be more than enough time. Shi Yao's heart finally calmed down. "It's nothing much. I just wanted to ask you something." "Go ahead with your meeting, I won't disturb you any longer." Saying so, Shi Yao prepared to hang up the call. On the other end of the call, Lin Jiege seemed to realize that she was about to hang up, so he hurriedly asked, "Yao Yao, are you really fine?" "I'm really fine. I promise. I swear." Lin Jiege was silent for a few seconds on the other end of the call before replying, "All right then, I'll be heading off to the meeting first. We'll talk later." Shi Yao replied with a before hanging up the call. Due to the urgency of the situation, she didn't waste any time with Leng Yuan, He Tian and Jiang Yu. Instead, she hurriedly asked them to help her bring the clothes and shoes she had changed out of back to her dormitory room. After which, she flipped through her subway card and headed for the elevator. However, before she could take a step forward, she seemed to have thought of something. She walked up to Leng Yuan and asked her softly, "Yuan, do you think he'll look down on me if I send myself to him like this?" Even though Shi Yao didn't say what she was up to, Leng Yuan could roughly guess what she was up to. Even though Shi Yao didn't mention Lin Jiege's name, Leng Yuan could tell that Shi Yao was going to look for him. After hearing Shi Yao's words, Leng Yuan shook her head and reassured her, "Don't worry, he won't. If he dares to look down on you, just beat him up. If you can't defeat him, I'll do it for you." "You're right." Shi Yao felt that Leng Yuan's words made sense. "If he dares to look down on me, I'll beat him up. If we can't defeat him, it's fine. I still have Sis Jui." After saying those words, a smile crept up Shi Yao's face as she waved goodbye to Leng Yuan. Then, with her subway card in hand, she dashed toward the elevator without looking back. It happened to be the evening rush hour, so there were quite a lot of people taking the subway. Chapter 760. Fortunately, there were only 3 stops to go. 10 minutes later, Shi Yao forced herself to remain calm as she stood in the subway, pretending that she didn't notice the gazes on her. She barely managed to hold on until she reached her destination before quickly getting off the subway. Lin Jiege's company was located 100 meters away from the subway entrance. Even though Shi Yao had never been there before, it didn't take her long to find the location. She took the elevator up to the 21st floor, and as soon as she came out, she saw the logo of Lin Jiege's company. Upon seeing her, the receptionist politely asked, "Who are you looking for?" Shi Yao honestly replied with Lin Jiege's name. In truth, there were plenty of beautiful ladies who came to look for their boss, but this was the first time she had seen such a beautiful lady. So, the receptionist couldn't help but take a few more glances at Shi Yao before asking, "I have to inform him that I'm meeting Boss Lin, so may I know your name?" Shi Yao obediently replied with her name. Usually when hiring receptionists, the boss wouldn't personally interview them, but here Lin Jiege had personally interviewed the receptionist. Furthermore, during the interview, Lin Jiege had emphasized to her that she had to ask for the name of any lady who came to look for him. Other than his mother, his elder sister and his aunt, the only one who was allowed to enter directly was Shi Yao. As for the other ladies, she could inform them if they were business partners, but if they weren't, she would just find an excuse and have them leave. It had been quite some time since the company was established, and there were indeed quite a few ladies who came to look for their boss. However, the one she was most curious about was Shi Yao, who had been given the green light. She had never met Shi Yao before, and now she finally met her. After hearing Shi Yao's name, the receptionist couldn't help but take a few more glances at her. Then she picked up the landline and made a symbolic call before letting Shi Yao in. "Boss Lin is currently in the conference room. You'll see him if you walk straight in." Shi Yao politely smiled at the receptionist and thanked her before entering Lin Jiege's company. The conference room that the receptionist spoke of wasn't too difficult to find. It didn't take her long to see Lin Jiege and a dozen or so unfamiliar faces seated in the conference room through the glass window. Shi Yao was only here to intercept him, not to cause trouble. Naturally, she wouldn't disrupt Lin Jier's conference. So she found a place to sit down and began surveying Lin Jier's company. Many people had yet to get off work and were busy at their desks. Most of them were men, and there were a few women who were quite old. It was only when this thought finally settled in Shi Yao's mind that she realized that she seemed to be overly sensitive toward the women around Lin Jie. Was it because she had been a glutton since she was young that she was even a little jealous now? Shi Yao's seat wasn't too far away from the conference room. Lin Jie had been focused on the meeting the entire time, so he didn't notice her presence at all. It was only when he noticed that there were two male employees glancing out of the room that he noticed. Perplexed, he followed their gazes, and it was only then that he noticed Shi Yao. What was she doing here? She had just called him and anxiously asked where he was. Was it to find him? And today she was very special, very beautiful. No wonder his employees were so distracted in their meetings when they saw her. But then again, did she purposely come to look for him and purposely tidied herself up? Chapter 761. The product director had just finished his speech, and seeing that Lin Jie still hadn't said anything, he couldn't help but remind him, "Boss Lin." Hearing those words, Lin Jie immediately shifted his gaze from Shi Yao to the product director. He had heard the product director's words very clearly, but he was completely clueless about what the latter few minutes were saying. Even so, it didn't bother him too much. He calmly nodded to the product director as if he hadn't been distracted at all. He replied with an ogue before turning to the others in the room and asking, "What about the rest of you? Is there anything you would like to add?" Most likely, just like Zhang Xian, a few of them had been too engrossed in watching Shi Yao earlier to listen to his words. Thus, upon hearing his question, they lowered their heads. Finally, Lin Jie turned his gaze to the marketing director and said, "Since there's nothing else to add, let's continue with the marketing department." After he was done speaking, the product director returned to his seat, and the marketing director stood up and walked over to where the product director had been standing earlier to begin his speech. Less than half a minute later, Lin Jie's gaze suddenly drifted to Shi Yao, who was standing outside the conference room. Despite the cold weather, she was actually wearing a dress, revealing her fair and slender legs. Lin Jie stared at Shi Yao's legs for a moment before he suddenly recalled how he had tricked her into coming back to his house, broken his bedroom door and locked the two of them in the room. Back then, just like now, his attention had also been drawn away by her long legs. That night, his mind had been thrown into a complete mess by her. Even 1+1 had been reduced to Shi Yao's thighs in a ridiculous manner. Recalling the past, Lin Jie couldn't help but burst into laughter. But soon he noticed that someone was looking at him with a perplexed expression. He quickly realized that he had lost his composure in the meeting once more. He quickly composed himself and leaned against the back of his chair as he stared intently at the marketing director, who was speaking in a rhythmic manner. This time it didn't even take half a minute for his thoughts to drift away once more. This time he didn't allow himself to indulge in his thoughts. Instead, he quickly pulled himself together and scanned his surroundings. He noticed that the few employees who had been sneaking glances at Shi Yao were still sizing her up from time to time. His mind was already elsewhere. It seemed that the meeting could not continue. At least half of the people in the room had lost their souls. Even if they continued, it would be meaningless. No wonder people say that femme fatale. Looks like I'll have to add a rule to the receptionist later. If Soft Bun appears in the company, they'll have to send her to my office immediately. It's best if she doesn't loiter around the company. With this thought in mind, Lin Jie cleared his throat and said, "Let's end the meeting here." After that, he stood up and ignored the marketing director who was staring at him blankly. He picked up the laptop and documents on the table with one hand and walked out of the conference room first. As soon as the door of the conference room closed, the people inside immediately exploded into a pot of porridge. Some of them were discussing who Shi Yao was, some were wondering what was wrong with Lin Jie, and there were also those who saw Lin Jie walking toward Shi Yao and gossiping about their relationship. Chapter 762. Compared to the commotion in the conference room, the area outside the conference room was much quieter. Shi Yao had rushed over in a hurry, so she hadn't thought about how she was going to do it. So, by the time she realized what was going to happen, her mind was completely focused on how she was going to speak to Lin Jie later on. As a result, when Lin Jie walked up to her and called her name, she didn't even notice it. Yao Yao. Lin Jie called out once more, only to see Shi Yao staring blankly at her feet, not reacting at all. Lin Jie thought that Shi Yao had fallen into a daze because she had seen something fun, so he followed her line of sight, only to see a spotless floor. A slight frown appeared on Lin Jie's forehead. He stretched out his hand and waved it lightly in front of her. Seeing that she was still staring blankly at him, not even blinking once, the frown on his forehead deepened. What's wrong with Soft Bun? Did she meet with some trouble or is she in a bad mood? With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jie spoke up once more with a hint of worry in his voice. Yao Yao? Seeing that there was still no reaction from her, he took a step forward and half-squatted down in front of her. Grabbing her arm, he asked once more, Yao Yao? Did something happen? His touch jolted her back to her senses. Perhaps she had been lost in her thoughts for too long. Being suddenly woken up by someone caused her body to tremble slightly. She turned to look at the person in front of her. When Lin Jie's handsome face came into view, Shi Yao, who had been thinking about how she should speak to him, suddenly became so nervous that she stuttered a little as she spoke. Lin Jie. Why, you're done with your meeting? How was he supposed to hold a meeting if she came to the company dressed up like this? Lin Jie only dared to think of such a possibility in his mind, so he replied with a simple on. Following which he asked once more, why did you suddenly come to the company? It would have been better if Lin Jie hadn't asked that question, but the moment he did, the nervous Shi Yao became even more nervous. Seeing that she was unable to speak for a long time, Lin Jie recalled how she had been in a daze earlier, and the worry on his face deepened. Did something happen? Yao Yao, don't be nervous, speak slowly. And that's not it. Shi Yao hurriedly shook her head. Then she turned to look at Lin Jie, who was squatting before her, waiting for her to continue speaking. Her mind felt as if it had been filled with glue, and she was at a complete loss for words. Hello, President Lin. Good evening, President Lin. However, before Shi Yao could say anything, an employee from the conference room walked out to greet him instead. On the surface, the employee seemed to be greeting Lin Jie, but in truth, every single person who passed by had their gazes drifting toward Shi Yao. Chapter 763. After entering the office, Lin Jie closed the door behind him. He grabbed the remote control and pulled down all of the curtains in the office before turning to Shi Yao and asking, Yao Yao, what's going on? I. Shi Yao's eyes darted around and she stuttered for a moment before blurting out. I want to drink water. Lin Jie wasn't a fool. He could tell that Shi Yao was lying through her teeth, but he didn't expose her. Instead, he walked over to the counter and personally poured her a cup of warm water before passing it over to her. Come, let's talk while we drink. I want to finish drinking first. Lin Jie nodded with a as long as you're happy look on his face. Shi Yao drank the water very slowly, taking small sips at a time. Lin Jie wasn't in a hurry, so he patiently accompanied her. However, there was a limit to how much water she could drink. Seeing that the cup was almost empty, no matter how unwilling Shi Yao was, she had no choice but to put down the empty cup. After which, she shot a glance at Lin Jie and before he could say anything she blurted out, I want to go to the toilet. Lin Jie pointed to the toilet with a do-as-you-please look on his face. Shi Yao got up and quickly ran in. After closing the door, she patted her chest and took in deep breaths. How am I supposed to explain this to him? It's all my fault. I was too preoccupied with competing with that see you there, and I forgot about the important matter at hand. Shi Yao paced around the toilet again and again. The more nervous she got, the more her brain couldn't think straight. Time slowly trickled by. Perhaps noticing that she wasn't coming out after so long, Lin Jie ran over and knocked on the door. Yao Yao? Are you done? Yao Yao, are you alright? Yao Yao, if you don't come out soon, I'll kick the door down. Knowing that it was impossible for her to escape, Shi Yao braced herself and replied, I'm fine. Then she walked over to the sink and took a deep breath at her reflection in the mirror. Forget it, since things have already come to this, I'll just have to improvise. If I can't stop him, I'll just beat him up. With this thought in mind, Shi Yao circled the washroom once more before her gaze finally fell on the soap box. It's made of metal, so it's pretty heavy. Shi Yao weighed the soap in her hand for 2 seconds before taking it out and tossing it to the side. She rinsed the soap box under the tap and wiped it clean with a napkin before placing it back into her bag. After which, she turned around and headed for the bathroom. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Like a warrior who would never return, she opened the door and walked out. Yao Yao, you finally came out. I thought you were still inside. Before Lin Jierge could finish his words, Shi Yao had already interjected. I remember now. The reason why I'm looking for you is to intercept you. What intercept? What was he trying to intercept? Did she think she was playing mahjong? For a moment, Lin Jierge didn't understand what Shi Yao was getting at, so he replied with a confused Wasn't her intention clear enough? In order to make herself look imposing, Shi Yao puffed out her chest and continued on. I've already said what I wanted to say. I'm hungry now, so can you accompany me to eat? Alright, I'm done with what I wanted to say. Chapter 764. What the heck is going on here? If not for her energetic appearance, I would have thought that she was suffering from fever. But despite his doubts, Lin Jierge didn't forget the phone call with Liang Xiao that he had put on earlier in the morning. I'm afraid that won't be possible. You should have seen it for yourself this morning. I've already made an appointment with someone and it's almost dinner time now, so I have to set off now. Should I get my secretary to order some food for you? I already said that I'm here to intercept him. Why is he still going to dinner? Shi Yao widened her eyes in shock. She stared at Lin Jierge for a moment before asking, Are you going to meet me there? Lin Jierge was bewildered. He's going to meet me there? What does that mean? Seeing that Lin Jierge wasn't saying anything, Shi Yao thought that he was tacitly agreeing to it, so she grew even more anxious. Why are you going to meet me there? What the F***ck was going on? Lin Jierge was completely baffled. Yao Yao, what do you mean by meet me there? I didn't say that I'm going to meet you there. Since you said that you're going to meet me there, why aren't you accompanying me for dinner? You're going to meet me there. Aren't you going to meet me there? Shi Yao's words sounded like a tongue twister. The first time Lin Jierge heard those words, he didn't understand them at all. However, after repeating those words in his head twice, he finally realized what was going on. When he was on the phone with Liang Xiao this morning, he said, I'll see you there. Now she's saying, I'll see you there. Could it be that she's referring to Liang Xiao by I'll see you there? Indescribable agitation and delight instantly filled Lin Jierge's heart. If she's really referring to Liang Xiao, does that mean that she's jealous? And when she said that she's going to intercept him, she's actually referring to Liang Xiao, preventing him from meeting Liang Xiao. Lin Jierge tried his best to suppress the surging emotions in his heart as he stared at Shi Yao and asked hesitantly, Yao Yao, are you referring to Liang Xiao? Who else? Without any hesitation, Shi Yao answered Lin Jierge's question. Is there anyone else? Could it be Li Xiao, Lin Xiao, Zhang Xiao, Sun Xiao, Xia Xiao? As the names of all sorts of surnames drifted into Lin Jierge's ears, he couldn't help but feel as if he was dreaming. It was really as he had guessed. He was really jealous. She was jealous, she was actually jealous. But her words were ambiguous. Did she recognize her own heart, or was it just a moment of impulse? Lin Jierge held his breath and waited for the raging emotions in his heart to subside a little before saying, Yao Yao, I made a lunch appointment with Liang Xiao this morning. As you can see, it's important to have integrity. You can't go back on your word at the last minute, right? As Lin Jierge spoke, he discreetly unlocked his phone and tapped into the call log. After which, he discreetly lowered his head to glance at the screen before swiftly tapping on Liang Xiao's name and making a call. There was only a single ring before he hung up. Then, as if nothing had happened, he continued speaking. Yao Yao, I really want to have a meal with you. Before he could finish his sentence, his phone rang. Chapter 765. Lin Jiage waited until Shi Yao's gaze fell on his phone screen and saw the name on the screen before he picked up the call and raised the phone to his ear. Liang Xiao, what's wrong? Did you call me earlier for something? Lin Jiage didn't answer her question directly. No, I was held up by something. I'll head over now. After saying what he wanted to say, he hung up the phone and turned to Shi Yao. I'll talk to you later. Liang Xiao has already arrived, so I can't keep her waiting. It's too rude of me to keep her waiting. I really have to go now. As he said those words, Lin Jiage walked over to the clothes rack and grabbed his coat. After which he grabbed his car keys from the office table and prepared to leave. Seriously? He's actually thinking of leaving? As expected of the only girl who had ever taught him mathematics in his junior high school. Seemed like she was quite important to him. Since that was the case, she couldn't let him leave. If he were to be taken by that girl when they met tonight, wouldn't she regret it for the rest of her life? Alarm bells rang in Shi Yao's head. No, definitely not. Since he's refusing a toast, I'll make him drink a forfeit. I might as well do as I did in the washroom and beat him up. It's fortunate that I prepared a weapon in advance. With this thought in mind, Shi Yao reached into her bag. She wanted to reach for the soap box and knock Lin Jiage out, but Lin Jiage was already walking toward the office door. In a moment of desperation as he was walking past her, she hurriedly took out the things that she had been randomly grabbing from her bag. It was a piece of candy. Shi Yao stared at the candy for 3 seconds before standing in front of Lin Jiage and saying, I'll treat you to a piece of candy. As she said those words, Shi Yao tore open the candy wrapper and stuffed it into Lin Jiage's mouth. The candy was cotton candy and it melted in his mouth. Lin Jiage felt a rich sweetness before his Adam's apple moved, and the candy entered his stomach. Seeing his swallowing motion, Shi Yao raised her head to look at him and asked, You swallowed it? Lin Jiage replied with a before adding, If there's nothing else, I'll be taking my leave first. Before Lin Jiage could make a move, Shi Yao had already stretched out her arms to block his path. That won't do. Since you've eaten my candy, you should at least give me something in return. There's a saying called reciprocity. Have you heard of it before? Lowering his head, Lin Jiage glanced at Shi Yao's left arm, which was blocking his way, before shifting his gaze to her right arm. All right then. Tell me, what do you want from me? Shi Yao stuttered for a moment, but thinking that if she didn't speak up now, she might not get another chance to do so in the future, she closed her eyes and roared furiously, I want you. The office was silent. A long time later, Shi Yao finally opened her eyes and looked at Lin Jiage, who was staring straight at her. I've already said all the important points, so there's no reason for me to cower anymore. Shi Yao took in a deep breath and straightened her back. Staring back into Lin Jiage's eyes, she continued, The reciprocity I want is you. You can't go to see Inexorable. I've prepared so much just to stop Inexorable who from going to see her. So no matter what, you can't meet her today. In other words, since you've eaten my candy, you're mine. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.